is the Easy Allies podcast. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us this week, Ian Hink, Ben Moore,
hello,
and Brandon Jones.
Gonna do a podcast now.
Podcast time. That's good.
Yeah.
Podcast time. Ian, what's your goal this week?
Find love.
Ben, what's your goal this week?
Naturally work Snorlax into the conversation.
Great. Jones, what's your goal this week?
To say the word ka-ching.
Ooh.
I like that.
Oh.
My goal this week is to tell a joke for Jones.
Yeah, that's right.
Just for him?
I failed to tell a joke for Jones last week.
My goal last week was to give Kyle a rim shot.
And I didn't tell a joke the whole podcast. I never set him up.
Not even a bad one.
Let's do corrections. Begin corrections music, please. The Twitter handle of Emily, our head Rufus Sleuth, is TurboGirl _ at TurboGirl. I got that wrong.
Yeah.
We got a correction. You used to be able to rent single games on PlayStation Now, but you can't anymore.
Whoa.
Maximiliano Valdez Palafox, you got a 1-week probation. No more corrections for 1 week from you.
Whoa.
Because they had incorrect intel last week?
Mm-hmm. An incorrect corrector.
They just got corrected.
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah, you get penalized 1 week.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I won't hear your corrections for the next week. I won't hear them.
I want to hear him.
We have another kind of correction for Stardew Valley Co-op. It's a mod on PC. It's not official yet.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's a weird
I was
one.
going to say, I didn't know about that.
John Cena does love video games. In particular, has a deep love of Command & Conquer as a franchise, so it was not fair for Huber to shake his head and say no.
He hosted the Kids' Choice Awards, or is going to.
What is the extent of John Cena's love for Command & Conquer?
Deep.
Oh.
Someone linked a video in the comments.
What?
He just said, you need to see this. Look at John Cena talking about Command & Conquer. If
Really?
you've not seen it,
Okay.
just
Wow.
YouTube John Cena Command & Conquer.
How random and weird.
Yeah.
And awesome.
The way
Yeah.
he talks about it is he just likes to build up units and mass attack.
That's what I do, because I'm
he's-
bad at RTS.
He just says, I love to just build up air units. I build a bunch of blimps and just mass attack. It's like, this is real. This is a real guy. He's not faking this right now.
Cool.
Finally, we have a very long correction. And this is in regards to Sauron. I have a really hard time with that name.
What?
Sauron, and whether or not he exists in a bodily form within this Lord of the Rings.
Bodily form, yeah.
The whole way you're framing this is like it's like some super controversial topic.
What does it be? Corporeal? Is that the word?
Corporeal.
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 Yeah, there we go.
Or
Should
bodily.
we just say we have a correction and corrections music and then read that?
Afraid not, Jones.
All right, give it to me.
So what happened is we got a mega correction from Bloodworth. This is
why he was going off about
This is
this
a smug
before.
one.
yeah,
Coming
so
at you.
this is our official statement. Let it be known, we won't talk about
This is
this
a page of
again.
correction.
Wait a minute. This is from Bloodworth?
This is from Bloodworth.
What in the comments?
Kind of. But he was on the last podcast.
Right.
Ah, okay.
He felt challenged.
And
He
then
got
he
it.
researched
He
it.
did the
Yep.
research.
All right.
Okay.
We'll not speak of this again. This is the official Easy Eyes stance
Okay.
on Sauron.
In regards to Sauron's physical form and the Eye of Sauron, I read through a number of passages in The Lord of the Rings, and it stubbornly appears to be a matter of nuance and interpretation. First, it's particularly clear that the Eye of Sauron does not sit perched atop the Tower of Barad-dûr as it does in the films. When Frodo puts on the ring to flee Boromir, he does see Barad-dûr and encounters the Eye. However, the Eye lies deep within the tower, not gleaming above it like a lighthouse. Frodo is able to see the Eye without it perceiving him, and he removes the ring after it senses him and begins to search for him. So it doesn't appear to be merely an image projected on subjects to invoke fear. Earlier, Frodo encounters the Eye in all its flaming glory while looking into the mirror of Galadriel, and Galadriel herself has seen the Eye. The orcs who follow Sauron wear a red eye to identify themselves as his servants. This would mean that they have encountered the Eye as well. Gollum also mentions the Eye on many occasions and describes its limitations as it is not all-seeing, but focuses on areas of Sauron's interest. However, while the Eye is apparently witnessed by several characters throughout the book, it still seems arguable that it's not a physically visible entity, but a powerful spiritual or mental manifestation. In contradiction to what we said on the podcast last week, though, the Eye does appear to be a representation of Sauron himself. As for Sauron inhabiting a body, the situation is just as befuddling. The core certainty is that Sauron is in a severely weakened state and depends on capturing the ring to recover his full power, but he is regaining strength. He's referred to as a dark power at times, and there's talk of Sauron arising, being driven out of Mirkwood, and taking up his throne in Barad-dûr. The most convincing argument for Sauron having a physical body comes from Gollum's dialogue, in which he describes Sauron as having only 4 fingers on the Black Hand, accounting for where the ring finger was cut off. That means Gollum has stood in the presence of Sauron. It could be taken as strong evidence that Sauron has regained a physical form, or he could just as likely be a ghost or shadow of his former self. Of course, I haven't read the entirety of the Lord of the Rings, but from a dig through these passages, it's not very cut and dry. Bloodworth.
Wow. And corrections music.
I need Bloodworth on Tabletop Escapades immediately.
Yeah, that's fun, huh?
Lore master.
Some of the language he uses there.
Yeah, that was...
So if you have any corrections to that, I won't look at it. If I see Sauron in a comment again, I'm moving to the next one.
Because I'm thinking about it in the...
Oh, boy.
No. This is backing him up. Because in the movie, in that flashback, it shows, what's his name, cutting off... The Gondor guy cutting off his fingers.
Legolas.
But he's just like an
right.
armor. You don't really see his face exactly. Yeah, weird.
Isildur?
Isildur.
Isildur!
He's one of the kings, the early king of Gondor or whatever.
I don't know if that's a correctable statement, though. Because Blood said at the end of the day, we don't know.
Just like,
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
They don't really say for certain.
I think
the Lighthouse comment is a dig against Peter Jackson, right? That the searchlight thing, that's not what's going on.
You got to make a movie. Movies are a visual medium.
You have to, yeah.
You just got to do it.
A movie.
Yeah. You got to show something.
Yeah, I wasn't saying the movie's good or bad. I was just saying that's specifically what he was referencing.
Sure.
It is not that.
So you mean a dig, but not an offensive dig.
Right.
Just kind of like a comment toward.
Yeah. As Bloodworth is wont to do. You're just like, I think you just made fun of that person.
Not offensive digs. So not a huge news week, I would say. So I plucked some stories. I think may lead to discussions. They may not. We might move past them quickly. But I wanted to run these by the panel.
That's us.
I realized the first story I plucked...
There's some huge news this week.
It's more Lord of the Rings. What is the huge news this week?
Oh my goodness.
You want to kick off with this? What do you got?
You should moderate it.
Isn't it that...
What?
What's his name left that thing?
No. No.
It's news.
Isn't that guy no longer in that thing with the people where they do the talking with the cameras?
And the other guy who said those other things, that's not going to be on this either.
Yeah,
We're not covering that other guy either.
All right, good.
We're talking about video games.
All right, good. I'm happy about that.
All right.
Because I don't give a shit.
That's why we're not doing it.
Yeah. Don't know who these people are. Don't care what they say or do.
Okay. So here's the problem. It's more Lord of the Rings. I didn't even realize I did this.
What do you mean? Wait, this isn't a problem.
Okay.
It's a great thing.
Okay, so the great
This
thing.
podcast's working out for Ben so far.
So we recently had the announcement of Middle-earth: Shadow of War. On this very podcast, we talked about it. And there was one thing I wanted to talk about that I neglected. Now I wish that I did bring it up, because it turns out it's kind of a big deal. When they announced the platforms that Middle-earth: Shadow of War will be on, it was PlayStation 4, it was PlayStation 4 Pro, it was PC, it was Xbox One, and it was Project Scorpio. And this was the first game that I had ever seen announced for Project Scorpio. And it turns out, we learned over the past week, that Microsoft has locked down it's not merchandise. What are the marketing? Has the marketing sponsorship, the marketing partnership with Middle-earth: Shadow of War.
So at the end of every trailer, it'll say, "Get it on Xbox."
Or TV spot, specifically.
right.
Yeah, that's where they
TV
were.
I always
spot,
thought that was really
and
weird.
usually bundles. Bundles are part of marketing partnerships a lot, and things like that. That exclusive DLC, if it happens, is much more likely to go toward the marketing partner. Here's what's weird about that. The interviews are a lot of talking about Project Scorpio and what it's going to do for Middle-earth: Shadow of War and things like that. As the HDR, we're going to do a lot of things with this. The console's got a lot of capabilities. This game's been announced for August, so that means two things. One, Scorpio's out in August, along with Middle-earth: Shadow of War,
Or pre-August.
or pre-August even, or B, it comes out in November when consoles normally come out, and this big thing they're heralding is like, hey, that game came out in August. So I want to talk to the panel about what you think is more likely. What do you think we can extrapolate from this information?
Scorpio's pre-August.
You think, honestly, it's that close?
Why the hell wouldn't it be?
I mean, that's a great question.
Do we have any other evidence supporting that? are there any other rumors or hints that could maybe back that up that we know of?
Nari. In fact, I think Scorpio's only been announced previously as fall 2017 at E3 last year.
That's what I was thinking, because E3 is between us and August. So, like, more info or possibly the Scorpio will come out around or right after E3.
Sure. Jones, what's wrong?
I don't know, though, because it is like a second console. Like, they can still, the Xbox One can still have that big August launch on the system, and then you just get that, like, Tomb Raider better version of it for the Scorpio down the road. You know, like the definitive edition or something that they can, like, then release on the Scorpio and try to sell later.
Yeah, why did you have a marketing partnership with an August game, though? That's the thing that's weird to me.
And you want to have a killer app on your new dumb system.
You want to have that killer app.
So, like, it makes no sense, to push a game that you're not going to be able to play for another month on a thing.
If you think about what we'll be playing in November, Jones, we'll have long forgotten Middle-earth Shadow of War.
We'll be knee-deep in Bloodborne 2.
Well, I mean, the Switch was hawking Skyrim, which was an old game that I can't even play on that system now.
Fair.
So, like, it's not that crazy that, like, a console will launch. Like, that's where our Switch, where we're like, hey, well, let's go play that game. It's like, but that's not actually out yet. And we didn't really know. We didn't really have all the information on, like, really committed to memory of what game was available when.
Quite.
And I mean, I don't know if this is something that they have that much forethought, but, like, this is becoming a pretty dangerous year to release a video game because there's just so much competition.
August
there's so many
is
excellent,
a great
massive
month.
40, 50-hour games.
It's a great month for this game in particular.
So yeah, I wonder if they think maybe that'll be okay, that people will go back and, you know, once they're getting a Scorpio, realize like, oh yeah, I'll get that Shadow of War bundle because I didn't play it a couple months ago, and now might be the perfect time.
How long between the announcement and the launch of the PlayStation 4 Pro?
Oh, it was weird.
That turnaround was way shorter.
The unveiling happened in, I think, September, and then the console itself launched in November.
Right.
But they announced it around E3. They said like it's real. They didn't name
because it was leaked, right?
Yeah, it was not named.
Oh yeah,
at that
we all
point.
had like bets about what it would be called.
Yeah.
And then they had that really boring press conference
in September.
But the Scorpio was announced before the PlayStation Pro. Because this thing's in like 2 years in the making, or
Scorpio
like a year
was announced
in the making.
at E3 last year.
Right. So that seems weird to me that it's taking this long. It's taking more than a year for this thing to happen. It's like, it's just put some more RAM in it and put it out. Like, redo your processor, whatever. It's a computer.
I think that's almost entirely a marketing thing, and not really in terms of like how long. I think it took, roughly the same amount of time. I think just Microsoft it's a race, and I think they wanted to get out ahead. It was like the Dreamcast move. They wanted to just get out ahead of Sony as far as like showing up actually with here's what it looks like. We don't have a name for it yet, but like here's some specs. Like here's some developers talking about it. And we had to wait, 3 or 4 months before Sony did that not very well.
Well, and it's the opposite of the original console launches, right? Where like Xbox announced first, kind of screwed it up, and then Sony came out and just like rubbed their face in it.
Yeah.
And now Scorpio can be like, we can beat the Pro because we can see it and just beat it.
Actually, PS4 was announced before the Xbox One was. PS4 had their announcement where they didn't show the console.
Right.
I always give them a hard time for this hardware announcement. I didn't think it was good. That's the one where it's like, what's the name of the game? Second Son, Infamous Second Son. Right. Do you remember the presentations and how serious it was?
Yeah. What if you got beat up at like some riot and you're like, what?
Yeah.
What's happening right now?
Wait till you see Infamous Second Son. And then a bad trailer for Infamous Second Son. And that one.
They made all these Gaikai promises and never happened.
The debut of
NAC.
That happened before the debut of the Xbox One, actually.
But then they came out later and had an actual review.
At E3, and then it had a good one. Yeah. E3 was great that year. Ben, where do you stand on this thing?
Hypothetically, the more that I think about it and the more factors that I consider, August is such a brilliant month to launch the Scorpio for so many reasons. I think you're sort of out of that initial, or at least you have enough distance from that initial Switch window where you're kind of hitting a point where right now we don't have any super huge big games to attach onto. Mario is in the fall. And I also think that, that if they come out with at E3 swinging, that's soon enough that you're still carrying forward that momentum. And the other thing is, if you look at the response to the PlayStation 4 Pro, which I don't think has been overwhelmingly positive, I still think that will be fresh in people's minds. And Middle-earth Shadow of War is an interesting game, and the two games that I compare it to are sort of Dishonored 2 and Rise of the Tomb Raider, where I feel like when that game comes out makes all of the difference. If it comes out with a lot of stiff competition,
Right.
it won't get the attention that it may or may not deserve.
Like Dishonored 2.
Right.
If Dishonored 2 was an August game, you
Yeah.
might have played it.
I think, and I love Dishonored 2. I think
Yeah.
Dishonored 2 is an excellent game. I think it came out at a bad time.
Absolutely.
If it came out in an August, the conversation around that game would be different, I think.
When did it come out? Do you remember?
November.
I think it was late
like holiday
November.
window?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was boy. And that's actually, I'm thinking late summer because they did. Here's the thing. Here's the fact. They did say fall 2017. We shouldn't expect it to come in late summer. The Xbox One S was late summer.
Also,
And
Scorpio
that was
is more
very
of like
successful.
a summery vibe kind of name.
Yeah, I get a summer
you know?
vibe from
it's like
Scorpio.
a summer vibe. It's not a winter vibe.
Yeah.
And Scorpions freeze in the winter. They're desert animals.
Yep. Deserts are very cold at
An
night.
excellent
that's true.
point, Ian.
They scramble into the ground at night,
This is true. Especially that big console.
I think all these weird, like, 2.0 consoles are really strange. Like the PlayStation Pro and this thing. I don't know.
It's a super weird thing
It's
to sell.
very
It's gonna be really
weird.
interesting to see how Microsoft goes about it.
Let's talk about this
Because Sony tried everything. They tried to sell it in all ways.
Yeah.
there's another
You don't
headline
need
I
it,
wanted
but
to
you
cover.
really do.
I missed this. How'd I miss this? This happened last month. This was an announcement last month that I would love to talk about in the podcast. Somehow I forgot to. Microsoft has announced when their E3 press conference is going to be.
Oh.
Jones.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
June 11th, 2 p.m.
Okay.
They're moving to Sunday.
Wow.
Because they used to do 9 a.m.?
Sunday.
They used to do Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, but they used to do mornings on Monday.
Morning-
Shots
Monday.
fired at Bethesda and Square.
Yes. I forgot about Square.
Is it actually during one of those?
So no. EA will probably be that afternoon, like noon. I think noon to 2. You're right, because it bumps up with EA
Right.
like crazy, and then Bethesda's later that night. Both EA has said, hey, we're doing EA Play again, but they don't have a specific time for their press conference. Bethesda wrote a tweet saying, Sunday before E3 getting busy. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Bethesda E3 showcase will still be Sunday PM. Details soon. So Bethesda's like, hey, come on, this used to be ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the thing, it was. Bethesda said, hey, we're doing Sunday. And we were
Yeah.
like, whoa, cool. And now EA said we're doing Sunday. And this year, Microsoft says, yeah, we kind of want Sunday too.
I mean, it makes sense.
It does.
Yes.
Because once that cart, the E3 cart starts rolling down the hill,
Yeah.
you better jump on or it's over.
And here's the thing. Adults can watch on Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
Regardless of what your job is, most of the time you're not
Most of
working
the
on
time you
Sunday.
can't, yeah.
Yeah. It's harder to watch a stream on a Monday.
Yeah.
I think Sunday's a better day. I think it's
And-
wise for them to do that.
And like the more companies that go on Sunday, it's actually a good thing, I think, because then it's just like, well, that's what I'm doing that day. I have these blocks of entertainment already like lined up. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. My day is sorted. I just watch EA, I watch Microsoft, I watch Bethesda,
Yeah.
and then there it is.
There was no Square last year, right? I think there was one
Somebody
2 years
took a
ago,
break, yeah.
and then I think the Square Enix.
I remember something being in the
last year.
morning last year on Sunday, but maybe I'm tripping.
That was
maybe
EA.
we skipped it or something.
That was
Oh, it's
EA.
Sunday,
okay.
the PC one too. They used to do
The
after
PC gaming
Bethesda.
show. That's
Ooh,
like
That's
yes.
always like really weird.
I
And then
did
we
not-
leave it for like Ubisoft or who. There was
Yeah.
always one that we like ditched it for.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was Ubisoft or not.
I think
It all
might
gets
have
like
been Ubisoft.
totally.
It was the
just
PC
bled
one.
together in my
The PC
mind.
one is long. It was
It's
just
like
we
3
just had to leave
hours.
because it was long. Yeah.
The second one they did a lot better job though.
They
It
did.
was a lot funnier.
I didn't see a
and, like,
minute of last year's
Yeah.
PC gaming show.
We watched a little bit on
was-
stream.
yeah,
It was fine. Yeah. I mean, it was more conversational. No real information. A lot
Definitely,
of like,
definitely an improvement.
a lot of heavy like talk from like Nvidia or somebody.
Right.
Like, AMD
Oh,
was like selling.
yeah.
Let me
hard.
show you our
Somebody-
cards this
Right.
year.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got new cards. You can SLI them or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So let's talk about the advantage of Sunday versus Monday. I guess we kind of did, but here's the thing. Monday is now just Ubisoft and Sony, presumably. Both of those people have not confirmed, companies. Both those companies have not confirmed whether they're sticking to what they stick
Corporations
with.
are people. Yeah,
How dare you?
Does Monday suck now? Monday used to be huge.
Sony delivers. It's fine. They had an orchestra, Kyle. They
did
played
have
the
an orchestra.
Mad Max music.
Yeah, it's weird. The kid.
What? I don't think it.
I just don't think at the end of E3 you think about days. You know,
Yeah,
we're going to look back at those press conferences. We're not going to be like,
Yeah.
wow, that Monday, let me tell
Yeah,
you.
it's all just E3.
Yeah.
In the moment, you could ask me what day did this happen. I'd be like, I don't know, E3. Like, it is really just such a blur.
What day of the week did that Shenmue announcement happen?
Right.
Probably
It
Monday,
just-
because
Monday,
It was a
Yeah.
Monday night.
I do think though, if it is handled correctly, hardware can always dominate E3 in a pretty powerful way.
Sure. And the one thing I forgot to mention, Ben, stay on this point.
Yeah.
With the announcement, the tweet, the image was that same dumb 4K CPU, the
Right.
weird little hypothetical CPU with 4K written on it.
Yeah.
From the Scorpio announcement last year.
petabytes?
Right.
That is what they're using to advertise this year's E3 press conferences.
Yes.
We're talking Scorpio.
I would push that Scorpio hard. I would make that the Scorpio press conference. Like,
Terrifying.
in every single game. Because think about it, no one else is going to bring a console. You know, they're out with the Switch, and hopefully they'll be announcing a lot of fun new things
hopefully
for that
they've got
console.
games.
And, you know, Sony's going to have a great year, but they're neither one of them is going to really be pushing, like, you don't own this, and we're going to have to explain it to you.
I think for the average consumer, based on conversations that I've heard, and if you look at history, the perception of being the most powerful is as valuable, if not more valuable, than the actual gap in power.
Sure. Here's the weird thing, though, Ben. I'd say the PS4 Pro, like you said, wasn't a huge, doesn't have a lot of heat on it, but I would say that it is successful.
Sure.
I think that Sony has found a way to sell as many PS4 Pros as they've wanted to.
I agree.
And the way that they've done that is not selling it hard.
Right.
They did not do a press con. Well, they had the announcement press
Right.
conference, but at PSX, it's barely ever mentioned, the PS4 Pro. At TGS, it was
Surprisingly
almost
so,
never
yeah.
mentioned.
So just an idea
Yeah.
that popped into my head. Do you think perhaps the reason for that with the PlayStation 4 Pro is that there's a big enough audience out there that just wants the best? Like you say, this is a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Imagine then you get that audience, but your message is a little bit more aggressive in saying that you are the best. Does that matter?
And I think another way to do that is if Sony was saying PS4 Pro is the most powerful console, if they did that for a year, they'd have to stop saying that.
Right.
Right.
A year later. And that's
Sure.
probably why the best reason not like, we got the most powerful console. You can't do that anymore. You don't have that. So maybe that is a good idea for them to downplay that part because they won't be once Project Scorpio is unleashed.
Well, and the vibe from the Pro that I always got is kind of just like, yeah, we'll sell as many as we sell. They didn't really seem worried about it in a weird way. I don't know. Like, they
Yeah.
weren't like, they didn't feel like they had to. Maybe it's because they're just on top right now, but it's like they have the luxury of not having to push it.
Yeah.
Whereas Microsoft keeps like, they were like, remember when the Pro came out and they were like, you can play 4K Blu-rays or whatever right now. You can't do that on the Pro or whatever. And I'm like, scum it down, guys.
Oh,
Like, I mean, I think advertising is weird, but like,
all advertising is scummy.
anytime someone tries to
Even
sell me
podcast
something,
halftime.
I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
nope,
extremely.
see you later.
That's the goal.
Which one?
I'm going to scum it up.
Oh,
just
yeah.
big time, just for you, Ian, this time.
Yeah. No, but we're not trying to sell hard. That's the thing I like about us and about Sony is like, it's just like, yeah, here's this.
I'm selling hard.
For you.
For you. We're shove it in your mouth.
Yeah, I think it's not completely fair, but I do think we can expect them to...
Did they not catch heat for that? Like, weird, murky wording about 4K Blu-rays
Oh, right,
or
right,
whatever?
right. Well,
From Kyle.
because they stacked it. You're right. I was mad because they stacked it. It is the 4K Blu-ray player, but they're also like the only place
Yeah.
for HDR gaming. This
Yeah.
thing, this thing.
It just
complete
felt scummy
sound.
is what I mean.
Right,
Like,
right, right.
whatever, no
That's fair.
hate.
That's
No
fair,
hate.
actually.
It's
That,
just
that
like
one
it just
particular
felt
commercial.
scummy,
That's a
that's
scummy
all.
commercial. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's fair to be like, yeah, us and Sony, we're cool. Microsoft, you're scumbags. You know
That's
what I
not
mean?
what I'm saying. I just thought that instance was scummy.
Okay.
And Sony just like coming out and having a thing and being like, hey, if you want it, here it is. You want it.
Yeah. But I guess...
I prefer that. You know, anytime someone tries to sell me is what I'm saying. I instantly say no.
Can Microsoft afford to ignore the Xbox One at their E3 press conference?
How would they be ignoring it?
Yeah.
How,
How
if
they
they
be
focus on the
ignoring it?
Scorpio,
If
is that
they're
ignoring
focusing on the
Xbox
Scorpio.
One?
Oh.
If they're
'Cause
focusing on the
Are you
Scorpio.
saying that Scorpio is not the Xbox One? Is that how you view it?
It's weird.
Is that
It's
how they view it? Because that's confusing.
It's extremely confusing. Absolutely, it is. It is an Xbox One. I I'm starting to think Xbox One won't be in the name anymore.
Don't you think maybe your bases are naturally covered if you get out there and you say everything that you're seeing you can also play as on Xbox One, but still super heavily focus on Scorpio? Like, isn't that kind of the best of both worlds?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're not locking anything out.
Also, I do think that Xbox One was not a good branding decision. Like, the reason they called it that is because it's your one-stop shop for entertainment or whatever, but nobody cares. Nobody wants that. So,
Yeah, they want it for games.
1 is a lower number than 4. It's bad. It's worse. Scorpio sounds like a badass motorcycle, and it's got a 50 teraflop hard drive processor, whiz-bang RAM, or whatever the hell it is.
It's whiz-bang RAM.
Yeah. So it's like, they're going to lean into that.
Sure.
They're going to show the full throttle music and then be like, Scorpio! And everyone, like, what's his name's going to have, like, a Scorpio tattoo? It's going to be intense. They're going to swim in Mountain Dew.
Oh, my goodness. This is just cruel at this point.
I'm just joking. I'm sorry.
What's up, Ben?
He just hates it when I do that.
Yeah.
No,
That's why I like having you two on the podcast together. It's a good dynamic.
I'm just thinking about the games.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about the games.
The games
Kyle.
are important.
The
So,
games are the most important.
I think
Sea
right
of
now,
Thieves.
I mean, obviously, it's a little early to talk about E3. I love talking about E3. I
Right.
think we can expect Shadow of War to be heavily featured inside of this press conference.
And right now, in this moment,
Yes.
that's not enough.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to Shadow of War. But I think if you look at how the competition and Microsoft's position explicitly, they need a big, huge, like, I can't believe this is happening. Oh my gosh, this is getting me excited kind of game that comes out of left field.
Yes.
The best version of Shadow of War, that's great, but it's not that. A new Forza, I think Forza Horizon 3 is great. A new Forza isn't going to get the people excited. I mean, it is, but not in that specific way that I'm talking about.
No, I think that's a good point. I think even a new Halo won't do that.
That's
No.
what I was
describing.
gonna
No.
Because you know
but
that's
yeah.
just gonna be a CG teaser and then go home.
Well, and
everybody.
also, the trap that Microsoft is in at this point, to me, it feels like their big reveals are Halos or Gears of War or these things.
Scalebound.
And it's like, what?
Scalebound's
Scalebound.
gone.
That was a big
No,
exciting
that's
announcement,
right,
wasn't it?
That's what they need. They need something to bring in new people. Because if you don't care about Halo by now,
Yeah.
you ain't never gonna care about Halo.
And I think what's interesting is if you look at their potential surprises and thinking about how effective those might be. We all agree that Sea of Thieves looks like an excellent time.
Sea of Thieves.
But is that a game that makes that new hardware exciting?
Yeah.
You know what does? Is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
It sucks that Sony is the partnership, because I would say Microsoft,
Oh,
go.
did they officially nail that?
That
That was
they
a
did.
good move on Sony.
With the announcement of Red Dead Redemption 2, yeah, I think they said we're going to have exclusive DLC on the PlayStation
That was a
4
smart
platform.
move.
Smart move, right? Because I would say Microsoft, lock that down.
Because
Yeah.
Scorpio's going to be like, hey, look, you can see way farther.
Yeah, but now they can't.
There are actual scorpions in Red Dead Redemption 2.
They don't get cold.
And we can simulate 40,000 more of them
Yeah.
with the Scorpios, many teraflops,
Right.
petabytes of
But-
whatever it's called.
It's teraflops. But now they can't advertise that. Now they can't say best versions on Scorpio because
Can you not?
because of that marketing deal. Sony's going to say, don't mention that. Please.
Oh, okay.
They can say it's on Scorpio, but they can't say best version on Scorpio because of that money.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jones, what would you tell Microsoft to do?
I just echo Ben. We need, especially in the wake of not knowing what the heck's going on with Crackdown,
Yeah, yeah.
Scalebound getting canceled.
Crackdown's a good thing to bring up.
That
That could be impressive. That could be very visually
But it's not
impressive.
going to drive
It could, but
people
it's
to
not
buy
a new
units.
thing.
Yes.
You know, like what
I feel like Crackdown is in a shitty position.
Yeah. It's not going to drive like John Q never bought an Xbox before to buy an Xbox.
Well, it's not impossible.
Yeah. I believe that Crackdown 3 will show us things we don't see in any other game. I'm
At
Cloud-based
E3?
destruction.
Yeah.
add it during an E3 demo.
Yeah.
Cool. My expectations for Crackdown is showing up, literally being at.
That's
the
what I'm
press
trying to
conference.
get at.
Because if we finish that E3 Xbox press conference and Crackdown is not there, I will not be surprised.
Yeah.
I'll not be like, where the hell was Crackdown?
Game's
Actually, I'm like, someone's gonna clip that out and
Yeah,
put
yeah.
it right next to me saying those exact words during E3. But yeah,
Don't worry, it'll
you
be
really
there.
nailed it, Ben. Like you need that huge sequel, huge IP,
But-
and even a Halo or another Gears is not.
Well, Okay, two things that you said that I think are very important to discuss. One, I think sort of defeats the purpose of the whole thing, but when I think about what could that potentially big thing be, I come up with nothing because I think that's kind of what they position Halo Wars 2 as, where it's like, we're doing another one of these, and I think there definitely was that initial wave of excitement, but I don't feel it anymore.
Right.
It didn't happen.
The excitement that Microsoft had for Halo Wars 2 seemed very disproportionate with reality to me.
I don't think they even marketed that hard, to be honest with you.
Sure, and I think that's part of it as well.
You know what's weird? I saw a mural for it in downtown LA.
Weird.
You know, around like where the arts district is, where all the artists have lofts.
And you think
Weird
about
side story. Sorry about that.
and you think about Phantom Dust.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a segment out there that really likes Phantom Dust.
Coming out before E3.
But can that do it? Could that be that thing? I don't know.
No, Phantom Dust is coming out before E3 apparently.
Oh, sorry.
Phil Spencer says,
Really?
you'll be playing that game before E3.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
This is sorry. I was just speaking over. I had no
It's
idea.
just a remake now, though. It's not a whole new game. It's a remake of.
Oh.
Yeah, because didn't it get like canceled or whatever?
It did.
Yeah.
The one that there was a great CG trailer for
But
was
bros,
canceled.
think about how dang
Just
Skyrim
misinformed
is
there.
going to look on the Scorpio, though. Skyrim.
Skyrim?
You know they're going to push it.
Ian, I know you're joking, but if a new Elder, if
They're
a new
going to show Skyrim on the Scorpio, guaranteed.
Sorry, I'm saying an Elder Scrolls sequel. If an Elder Scrolls sequel
that
is
would be
announced,
big.
obviously Bethesda would want it. But if Microsoft can say it's gonna look really good on the Scorpio,
You know what they'll do is the Bethesda conference will have the exact same trailer as that. The
we're gonna see a
Microsoft.
bunch of that.
You know,
But they'll talk about it for 20 minutes first.
thinking about the fervor for Elder Scrolls and the popularity specifically with Skyrim, even Microsoft coming out and saying you get the DLC for the next Elder Scrolls 3 months before you get it anywhere else, that would do it. Like, as shitty as this feels to say, I think that would work.
No, talking biz, that totally
Yeah.
works. Absolutely. I don't think we'll see any Elder Scrolls this year. By the way, I think it's still.
it's-
Haven't they
we're
said
still far
no?
off.
Didn't
It's
yeah.
too soon.
Thought I would say specifically
Yeah,
no.
don't come on.
I think-
Don't
Give me a
expect
break.
that for a long,
Yeah.
long time.
What's the studio that makes all the Arkham games?
Rocksteady?
Rocksteady.
Rocksteady. I think like if they came out with something that was like just for this Xbox, that'd be pretty big. Something like that, like some like exclusive partnership with a respected creator. I think that could be really big.
Something like Scalebound.
Yeah, I was
exactly,
just
yeah.
thinking that.
Something
Yep.
like Scalebound, but not as dumb looking.
Respected creator. Yeah, I don't think the big exclusive third parties are going to be coming around.
Nah.
I think just basically they got to lock down weird deals with big games.
Yeah.
I think Shadow of War is a step in the right direction to build
Call
excitement
of
for the
Duty's not
Scorpio.
gonna do it.
It's actually when you think about the history of Microsoft, I think it kind of puts them in a tough position, and not in a bad way, but when I think about the original Xbox, I can't think of a ton of like, oh man, that would really get people excited if they brought that back.
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys 2,
Bad Boys
Maybe you
Miami Shakedown,
What if-
Takedown.
We might be getting another Bad Boys game. Because we're
What?
getting another Bad Boys movie.
Jones? That's real?
Yeah, aren't they? Michael Bay's making another Bad Boys movie.
And Michael Bay is making it?
I believe that's happening.
Is Will Smith in the movie?
Yeah, I believe they're all signed up, ready to go.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
That's weird.
Martin Lawrence is in
I
the
think
movie.
it's called Bad Boys for Life, too.
Oh, nice.
Not Bad Boys for Life 2.
Bad Boys,
Bad Boys for Life
for
also.
life.
So they're skipping the third one and just going straight to the fourth one.
Yeah.
Bad Boys for Life.
are we getting another Bad Boys game?
That
That'd
we
be
might.
fun. That's the
happen.
third one.
That's
they're,
what-
they're
Kickstart that.
pulling
For
a-
Scorpio.
They're pulling a Matrix, and
Ah.
the game bridges movie
Yeah,
2 and
the game
4.
is Bad Boys 3.
That-
yeah.
That would actually be.
That's a
pretty-
game that I want to
pretty
be
incredible.
bad.
You want it to be
I
bad?
want
just to
the
send
new
a message.
Bad
just like,
Boys
don't.
game to be bad.
Don't.
And I think that'd be fun.
You know
To
what?
be fun.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Like bad fun.
Fun
Yeah.
bad.
Like Miami Takedown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
You want a
like
bad,
not what
janky
Batman
video
versus
game.
Superman was.
So here's a game I'm not
Versus
sure
bad.
is fun, bad, or not. This was a strange announcement. Resident Evil Revelations is coming to Xbox One and PS4.
The first one?
Yep. In fall of 2017.
Okay.
That sentence totally makes sense to me up until
Up
that
until-
last part.
They announced that now, yeah.
Taking their time. Okay.
Yeah. So
I
there.
love the second game. Never played the first, so whatever. I'll check it out.
Okay. I think
I've
you.
heard it's not as good.
Yeah, I think you will like it less.
Yeah, I've heard
It's not.
bad.
I don't think it's as good.
Yeah.
It's strange.
I remember, I think Blood, like somebody liked it, and then someone else a few months later were like, yeah, it's okay, not great.
It's strange.
I don't remember who.
It's built like a mobile game, or I'm sorry, handheld game, I should say.
Right.
With its scanning, and you need to scan to pick up items. It's very super strange.
If they're smart, they'll just stop it with that.
So
They'll just change it.
yeah, I guess all of that does make sense, except fall 2017 is a big time, as we've just discussed this entire podcast.
What else is coming out in fall 2017?
We got
List them all.
Okay, Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Those are both holiday.
That's fall.
That's
fall?
winter. That is winter.
It's like
with a capital W.
If you do winter, it's too late, buddy.
Holiday.
If you're doing December 15th or later, that's too late.
I'm thinking like I don't know. I grew up in the Midwest, so anything after Thanksgiving is winter.
Oh,
Because there's like a foot of
there's
snow.
snow. There's snow. Yeah. I think we've got to accept those as the same things.
All right.
If fall 2017 is the peak buying and peak release for video games,
Yeah.
that's a bad time for Resident Evil Revelations.
Can I-
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that this story I think is one of those stories where you see it and you go why, and then you go whatever.
Sure. Yeah, we can
come
move
out.
on. I guess I'm just a little scared that Capcom thinks that's enough, that Resident Evil 2 remake is not happening this year at all.
It's not confirmed.
If Revelations gets the fall 2017 slot,
They're gonna discuss it.
Wouldn't you want this to come out before or after or during Resident Evil 7? Where maybe somebody is playing Resident Evil 7 for the first time, wants
Yes.
more Resident Evil,
They're like,
or
"I
is
wanna have some
returning.
Revelations."
Right, like
they might be overestimating demand a little bit with this one. It's weird.
I mean, also it might just be really easy for them to puke out, so they don't care. Because like the game is already, I think that already had a.
But if
port
it's
for
easier
something
for
else.
them to
That's
puke out,
That's why
puke
it's
out.
come out this month.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
already been on
Why
360,
do
it's
it in
already
the
been-
fall?
Yeah.
If it's in the fall,
Puke it
that
out
makes
any
me
other
think-
time.
Yeah.
That makes me think that they're taking mechanics from 2 and putting them in 1
I don't
and
think
changing
so.
the game up.
I don't think so.
But
then why
it's
would
at
it
least
take
a
that
theory.
long?
It's at
Like,
least
why
a
would it
theory
take
for
that
why
long?
they're
I have
waiting
no
so
idea.
long. I'll hear you. Okay, so maybe Resident Evil Revelations, when it comes out in the fall, will be something new.
Different beast.
Ben doesn't want us to get excited. Ben, maybe
I'm sorry.
Maybe
Not
this
trying
will
to hurt
excite
your
you.
hype.
Excited.
Just seems a little bit of a stretch.
Our final headline is something that is extremely exciting.
Okay.
PlayStation 4 games will become available on PlayStation Now.
Oh, that's not exciting, Kyle.
So this is just because on this podcast we've covered very recently a lot of renting services. We talked about the Xbox Live service. Or I forget its name. Xbox On Demand. Ooh, shoot.
The
I can't-
Netflix style thing?
Yeah, I forgot what they were calling their thing already.
So many people just said the Netflix for games that when I see
what
it,
it's
that's just
called,
what I
yeah.
think of just because it's been said so much.
Yeah.
I got hoodwinked like 4 times like yesterday
Hoodwinked, I like that.
on PSN, and I was like, oh cool, a bunch of Sonic games, because they're like, oh, Genesis games. And then I saw the PlayStation Now thing.
Yes.
And you know what I do every time I see the PlayStation Now symbol?
Tell us.
I hit circle 3 times and back the hell back out.
3 times just to be sure.
No, just get back to the main menu, because damn, ain't nobody needs this.
Yeah, it said 250 Sega games.
Yeah,
and
I
it
was like,
shows-
oh cool,
I would
look
really
at
love to play these.
And then I'm like, oh, these aren't games, this is garbage.
Right.
PlayStation Now, BS.
So yeah,
Weird pricing structures.
So what's new about that is PlayStation Plus, in its entire time that it's been a service, has only been PlayStation 3 games. And
PlayStation Now.
sorry,
said
did I said Plus? Yeah. So yeah, it's only been PlayStation 3 games that you could stream in, and in the future it will be PlayStation 4 games. What's weird is they didn't announce what games. They didn't announce when it's happening specifically. They didn't announce which games. PS4 games are going to be on the PlayStation Now service, but it does make more sense why they cut everything else out. Right now, PlayStation Now is only available on PS4 and PC. So there you have it. It's like, hey, you can save your PlayStation 4 games on your PC, and then you can pick it up on your PS4. Continue streaming PS4 games. Yeah.
It's hard for me to. I haven't given PlayStation Now a shot.
Right.
The general response is part of the reason why I haven't given it a shot. I've heard a lot of bad things, but I feel bad being cynical or just snarkily dismissing this without having actually given the service a shot. Maybe there's more value to it than I realize.
I feel bad too, and I do think that there is more value to PS4 games than there is PS3. When they
Absolutely.
first announced it and they said on PS4 you can stream any PS3 game you want, it's like, wait,
It's like, I got a PS3 collecting dust in my bedroom, guy.
yeah.
Like, get out of here.
What about those new games? And I wonder if they'll have new games.
I will say an experience that I had recently with PlayStation Now.
Ooh.
Because that actually caught my attention. I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool thing that I'm undergoing. I was browsing the PS Store, like I do sometimes.
Yeah.
And it said PlayStation Now, Koei Tecmo games. And I clicked on it, and there were just a ton of Koei Tecmo games, just a bunch of really weird, obscure stuff that I never would... I either hadn't heard of or just hadn't played, and it was like, I wouldn't play this under any other context, but because it's being presented here and it's easily accessible, oh, maybe I'll give this a shot.
Netflix style.
I
Right,
Netflix style.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is the use case for PlayStation Now. And if they're putting like weird, obscure PS4 games on there that you just wouldn't like, no one's gonna buy this.
right.
Those are gold on a thing like this. Yes.
Thing is, you gotta promise me when I hit the X button,
Yep.
I'm gonna jump.
I know,
immediately.
that's the
Right.
fear.
I need that promise.
That's the fear,
You know,
yes.
you know what Sony needs to do is just make the damn network faster.
Yeah.
I have my internet is like 260 down at my house. It's absurd. And PlayStation is like 7 single digits. Unacceptable.
It's really weird. I looked into it. Somebody did a ton of research on Reddit, which was really cool to read about how the servers work.
Yep.
And if you're getting a slow download,
I've changed my DNS. It doesn't do anything.
Oh, whoa,
I've changed
you've
my
been- you're on
DNS to
top
the
of this.
Google one. I changed it to the San Diego one. I changed it to this one, that one, the other thing.
All right, so
I've done it.
You've heard it.
I've done it.
You've heard it.
It got me up to like 11. It's awful.
So
the
yeah,
best I've ever seen it was like 40. That was years ago.
Are you wired or Wi-Fi?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Makes no difference.
Wow.
The one thing I do
And
recommend
I've got a
is
blazing router. We've got the Nighthawk. It looks like the Batmobile.
You got that blazing router?
We've got the blazing router. It
Nice,
looks like
dude.
the Batmobile.
Blazing router.
Very
the
cool.
thing looks like the Batmobile.
I do recommend putting it to sleep. Your PS. Whenever I put my PS4 to sleep, it definitely downloads faster.
Oh yeah, I've heard that rest thing.
It's
yeah.
stupid. That's so stupid that that's a dumb
I don't know if it's
workaround.
true.
Yeah.
Is it true?
It
Has
works.
it been tested?
Works for me.
I was downloading something and it was still going real slow. I don't know. It makes me depressed.
And it's only exacerbated because when you get those new games, you're like, oh, this is 60 gigs.
Yeah.
I have to wait 7 days to play it.
Like when I
exaggerating.
tried when the shop in LA that always breaks street date didn't have Neo, even though they said they would 4 days early.
Thank you for not calling them out by name.
And then I was like, okay, I'll wait until Monday, And then I waited until like a good safe like 4 p.m. thinking like, okay, I'll just buy it on the store, I'll download it, it'll be fine. It didn't finish downloading until like 1 in the morning. And I was like, well, I'll play this tomorrow on release day, like a peasant.
You're saying from 4 p.m. till 1 a.m.
Yeah.
That thing downloaded.
Or it was like finishing.
Did you put your PS4 to sleep?
It was in rest.
Huh.
I put it in rest, and then like 2 hours later, I was like, I wonder if it's done. And I looked at it, and it wasn't.
Then I don't know what to tell you.
Just life is a screaming hell. I don't know.
What, Joe, you hear that?
Oh.
Sounds like it's podcast halftime!
That really pepped me up. That was
Yeah.
good.
The following are the official sponsors of Easy Allies for the month of March. Michael Kozachenko, you can find at Misha Koz. Mango. iKeyless. Need a new car key or remote? iKeyless.com has been in the key replacement business since 2002. Check them out today and they can help save you up to 75% off of the dealership's prices. If you type in offer code EZA at checkout, you'll get 50% off of your order. Hogue Law Business Law Firm. Whether you're starting a business at level 1, stuck fighting the dreading fundraising boss, or finally cashing out with a well-earned high score, you need a good business lawyer at your side. At Hogue Law, they're not just attorneys, they're entrepreneurs with more than a decade of experience representing software, hardware, and game developers, and we're developers themselves. They're proud to support the Allies, so check them out at hoaglaw.com. Steve Lichman. Life's tough when you're a lich, and Steve's is no different. Join Steven and his monster friends for their everyday lives down in the dungeon, battling handsome heroes, muscular magicians, and deep depression. Books 1 and 2 are available for pre-order for a limited time only. Check out their 90-page preview free at stevelichman.com. Scorn! An atmospheric horror adventure developed by Ebb Software set in a nightmarish universe of odd forms and somber tapestry. Go to scorn-game.com for more information. All these links are available in the description. Thank you to our sponsors.
You haven't Excellent
loved
voice.
that.
Why that?
I just insulted so many people. I apologize, but I
Nobody's
just really had to get
insulted
you.
him. What?
No, there's somebody out there
With
that
a
sounds like
cowboy
that. It's like
voice?
what?
No, I think
What?
that
That
came,
was awesome.
that came from a place of love.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
Yeah.
it made me feel good.
Yeah.
Like, I could see someone thinking that the sponsors or that the people from the South are being made fun of. I don't believe that either of those is the case.
No.
No,
I think you were just excited and doing a voice because
It's
you love.
fun to talk like a cowboy.
Yeah,
It is.
cowboys are
It
great.
is.
It is simply that simple.
it's true.
Yeah.
It is now time. Oh, Xbox Game Pass, by the way.
Game
That's what the
Pass.
service is
Oh,
called.
nice.
Xbox
It passed me
Also-
those games.
Also, we have a booth now.
Okay, what?
People watching this podcast, if you're listening to the podcast, you got nothing to worry about. If you're watching this podcast, you might have noticed a giant thing
monolith.
that is now in the back.
From 2001.
That is not a time machine.
So let's explain
Bill
this
and
to
Ted are
listeners.
not going to step out of this.
Let's explain what that thing
It
looks
is
like.
a giant gray fuzzy box
Yes.
with a window in the front and a door.
It's like 7 feet tall.
It
Carpeted
is
box.
that you go inside and you close the door and it sounds better on the inside there.
Kind of looks
Yeah.
like a
if you
torture
record some
device.
VO, it does.
Yeah.
We can talk. You know, it's ours now, so it's modular. But,
Honestly, I bet we sound a little better because our voices are bouncing off this
Potentially,
thing. in the room.
yeah.
It's
I'm
dampening
curious,
the
actually.
room theoretically.
Do we
which is
sound
good.
better?
You sound better.
I hope
Oh,
we
thanks.
do. I got that direct.
I've
box.
never sound better.
All right, Jones. That time it was offensive.
that was it. That was the
That
line.
was the one. That was the line.
Cross on
Crossed it.
over.
Let's do a little love and respect.
Also, wait.
Like a
Well,
Snorlax in the
not
middle of the
yet.
road.
I feel like I came out real negative earlier about Microsoft and Sony and stuff. I'm chill. I'm not negative on those things.
When you said swimming in Mountain Dew, that was not chill.
That was a hilarious joke. That was hilarious.
I did have a nice visual. I imagine like waterfalls, like you know how like
Yeah.
balloons come down at the
And
end
they're
of
like thrilled. They're having a
the end of
blast.
like graduation or something. You know,
Yeah.
just the side.
It's great.
Like
It's like
I have a question.
There's like a top-down like synchronized swimming thing from like the 30s.
Before we get to love and respect, I'm actually genuinely curious about this. Can you swim in Mountain Dew? Can you swim in soda? Would it be okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Jello. I've talked
We
about
should
this
try it.
multiple times. A swimming pool of Jello, you would die.
yeah.
Because you would
your
drown?
feet-
You would just sink?
I think that your feet, in trying to swim up, you would chew up the Jello beneath you,
Oh,
and you
God.
would go down.
Oh.
so you would
yeah.
just drown in
You're
Jello.
not taking purchase in that. There's
Can
no
you-
way.
can
Yeah.
you imagine doing
It'd
that
be
to your
the
enemy?
Worst. Yeah, that's like a
Watching
Bond
them die in a
villain.
pool.
Yeah, just pushing you over into.
Yeah. Like
and you
Bill
think,
Cosby's full
Oh, this is
evil now,
great.
and he's just like gonna let you drown in Jello, and he's like talking about it.
oh,
Swimming in Mountain Dew and getting in your eyes and up your
Oh.
nose and.
so
Think how
tasty.
sticky you would be.
So tasty. You would be very sticky.
But what
you'd
if
be
you
so
won
sticky.
a new video game?
Yeah. There's a brand new Scorpio waiting for me when I stepped out. That's fine.
I would do it for free. I would give you a Scorpio to let me swim in your Mountain Dew pool.
Oh, I was thinking like the
Ka-ching.
executives were swimming in the Mountain Dew.
Wait. Would it be regular Mountain Dew or would it be one of the many offshoots?
Red Zone.
Baja Blast.
Would we feel better about swimming in Baja
I'd feel really good
Blast?
about Baja Blast.
I think I would too.
They would find a way. They would alter the viscosity so that before anyone swam in it, it would be regular Mountain Dew on the outside, and then the Microsoft or the Xbox logo in Baja Blast in the middle. And they add more corn syrup so that the viscosity is more, so that it holds its shape. And then when someone swims through it, it gets destroyed.
Oh, okay.
But
That or
like-
announce a new franchise.
or get a new game.
Those are your options. What we're saying.
It is now time for love and respect.
Love and respect.
Ooh. Was someone harmonizing on that?
Yeah, it was me.
I heard a little harmony up in there. Okay, this is fun.
Just feel loopy.
Yeah, it's been a wacky day. It's a goofy day.
Gorsh. Love and respect. Hello, allies. I really want to hear your personal opinions on Waypoints. I can't stand playing Skyrim, Oblivion, or Fallout 4 because everything has basically been reduced to follow the big red arrow. It breaks the immersion for me. I tried playing Skyrim with the objective waypoints toggled off, and it was beautiful. But impossible, because the writing only ever said, find Olaf, with no location hints at all.
Sure.
Playing Hitman without the waypoints completely changes the game for the better. In contrast, I love the way Uncharted series gives subtle waypoint cues to keep you going. Divinity Original Sin and Wasteland 2 are games that jump out to me as a rare breed of using good writing instead. Yet, there are games that waypoints make sense in, like Diablo 3. I don't know. Is this just poor game writing that is causing games to move forward toward waypoints? Do you personally like waypoints, or do they take away the joy of exploring and break immersion for you as well? Discuss, please. P.S. You guys are the best in the biz. Love and respect, Mr. Gomp.
Thanks, Gomp.
I really like this.
So this is
That's
a question
a
I
good
was feeling
question.
recently, too.
Yeah.
I definitely have been feeling this inner turmoil after the last 2 games I've been playing. And so I want to see where the panel's at on waypoints.
I tend to side with Mr. Gomp. I mean, my most beloved games, you know, the Souls games, Neo, stuff like that.
No waypoints.
They don't have waypoints, and that would be insane to have waypoints. I love Zelda, the new Zelda though, because you can make your own. You can set which ones are active, and then you can make your own waypoints and set them in the world, you know, and that's really cool. That's on you, and you can use different stamps to do it, and it's really cute.
I have a question about Zelda, actually. Because I've been playing in Pro HUD for pros.
Yeah.
No minimap.
No
Not
minimap.
for me. But in the actual game itself, do you see the waypoints that you put in?
If you're looking through the, I've mostly just watched my roommate play it, but if you're looking through the thing and you set it on a tower, it makes a glow.
Yeah.
Does the glow stay if you're not looking through the viewer?
I don't know.
I think it might. I honestly, I don't remember at this point.
I think it might too. Yeah.
I can speak for Pro HUD mode. It doesn't. And I love
Okay.
it for that. I love playing through Zelda in Pro HUD mode. And the other game I really want to talk about is Horizon, where waypoints, it is a little tricky thing, kind of like in Skyrim, where it's really nice not to have the waypoints, but at some points it's impossible not to have those.
Yeah.
I like, though, that you can turn individual things off with Horizon. And if you really want to, you can play with no waypoints at all. And I like the option. I like that it's there for Horizon. You could technically try, but at some points it's talk to this guy. And you're, wait, what? You just go out in the city? Yeah, just talk to him. And like,
Yeah.
wait, who, though? Who? And so, yeah, it is a lot of...
They're a good time saver sometimes. I like it when games have the... I'm a big about the form being the function, you know, when a thing is in the game, that means it's like actually in the game and like it makes sense in the world and stuff. Like Dead Space, I think, had a cool way of doing this where you click the right stick and then it went like whoosh, and
Yeah.
it showed you the little trail of where to go, which is like actually in the world.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Isaac or whatever is seeing that through his HUD.
And it would make sense that an engineer would have that
would do
capability.
that.
Yeah.
And like, or Metal Gear Solid 4, I think, had like the like HUD stuff was like in your actual, like your little stealth ring was like around you, you know, it was like noisy over here.
Yeah, those are cool.
Stuff like that is really cool. Or like Mass Effect kind of does stuff like that sometimes where it's in the world. I like that. But when it's stuff just like, here's a HUD because it's a video game, that's like, you know.
Yeah. And what I liked about turning the map off is the same thing with Bloodborne, with Souls games. You pay more attention to the environment.
Yeah.
It's really easy to be staring down at the map for most of an explorational game.
Zelda does a good job with that stuff, too.
Ben, what's up? How do you feel about waypoints?
The way that I play games that heavily feature waypoints or have a lot of icons on the map, how I end up feeling about it depends on how full the world itself feels. Because you were talking about how being constantly aware of the minimap or just constantly running to these points can get aggravating and tiresome, and it's just because you feel so aware of how gamey it is and you're supposed to want to explore. In very well designed games, even if there's a bunch of waypoints, if I'm going somewhere and I get distracted by something else, to me that's a win. It's not necessarily that the waypoints are there, but you've provided enough motivation for me to go off on my own anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's only when that world is empty and it's like, well, I might as well just run around to all of the waypoints because there's nothing else to do. That's, to me, when it is a problem, and it feels like the open world is just just wasted space.
Jones, when's a good time for waypoints? When's a bad time?
A bad time is one issue that I had with Horizon was that they didn't have a GPS. So if I was being guided towards a direction, I was following a waypoint that was constantly moving to the next intersection. So it was always there. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I can see it over that mountain, I'll figure out my way to go there. It's like, no, go to this thing, take a right, now go, take a left here, now take a right there.
Yeah.
And it's like, just put a line and I'll follow the line. But I'm constantly staring at this dot and running around, you know. And in a lot of instances, going in the wrong direction. Because I'll run to an intersection, the dot vanishes, and I'm like, oh, it went over there. Okay. As opposed to like I can look at the map, see where it is, and then take my own way.
Can I tell you another when I would just turn it off in Horizon is when I'm in an indoor environment.
Right.
I don't need this. I got it from here. And you can easily just turn
There's
that
two
off.
doorways. I can handle it.
That's what I was gonna say about like Uncharted or Call of Duty or stuff like that. Like in Skyrim, you know, like they were saying, because the writing doesn't say like he lives between two mountains by the river.
Yeah.
You know,
Find Olaf.
It's like it's an open world. It's like okay, I have no idea. And if God help you if you don't play for 2 days and then you come back and you're like, what was I doing? But like, it gets a little funny in games like that, like an inside corridor thing, or like Uncharted or Call of Duty, where it's like, you only have the one option. Like, maybe the area gets wider here, but then, like, you're going there, obviously.
Oh, yeah. But you know what those are there for is playtesters who are dumb idiots.
Maybe.
Those are there for people who get lost in video games.
I really enjoy Grand Theft Auto, and there are a bunch of other games that do this that I could point out, but I always think of Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
I actually hate the line. Because I feel it's just a mental thing. I would much rather you put a point on my
on the minimap.
Yes, I would much rather you have put a point on my map because then I'm just sort of going in that direction.
Yeah.
And I might go east a little bit, and then I might verge the other way. Eventually, I'll end up at that point, but the path I take to get there might be very unorthodox. But when you give me that line, I feel this weird obligation. It's like, okay, well, this is the optimal way to get there, so I should do that. And that, to me, is a tough barrier to break.
Which game? One of those open world games did the like racing game thing where it put the arrows, but like out in the world, and it made you like turn. But it's like you could just drive right, but the GPS
Watch
or whatever
Dogs?
was like, yeah, it was one of those.
Yeah.
And maybe in Watch Dogs.
I think Saints Row does that.
Yeah, Saints Row.
Saints Row does that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really
cool.
intense because then it's just like.
Don't go this
open
way.
world is gone, and you're on a racetrack to get there. I mean, you can just leave.
I think one of the other things too that
It's
we're
really
not
funny.
that hasn't really come up is context.
Right.
It's like if I have a map and you want me to find Olaf, show me where Olaf is.
Right.
What's the freaking mystery? Like
Right.
why do we have to be mysterious about that? If his life is in danger and you want me to go bring him some medicine, show me where it is.
Yeah. Sure.
We all have maps, right?
Yeah.
Maps are not like a new concept in Skyrim.
Let me hand you my map.
I got my map.
yeah.
Point
I've
it.
marked
I
There you
love
go.
this
Yeah.
fictional Olaf fantasy character that
Yeah,
we
yeah,
created.
yeah.
Like, just show me where Olaf
Right.
is.
Where the hell's Olaf?
So that I mean, you're talking about like when to have it, when not to have it. That'll piss. I mean, on the other side of the spectrum, that really pisses me off when I'm playing an RPG and they're just like, "Go find my old house," and I'm like, "Okay, where is it?" And they're like, "I don't know." Like, yeah, you do. You totally know where it is because you grew up there. Where is it? And they're like, "That's the part of the game." And it's like, well, it's not. You know, like, and a lot of times with those systems, I think about like, well, what would it's like, yeah, following the line is bad, but like Michael and like those characters would because it's a GPS and they're in a car. Like if they were actually doing this in real life, doing the mission that they're on, they wouldn't be like, I'm gonna go by the mall. They would take the shortest way there and then get the job done and get out of there. So there's moments like that don't necessarily bug me because I am in character and that's what the character would do to get to that location.
Weird contextual question. There are multiple games where they say, "Oh, let me mark that on your map."
Yes.
And at first, I'm always like, "Oh, okay, cool. They're putting this game mechanic into the world." But by the midpoint of that game, I'm like, I know you're gonna say I'm gonna mark it on their map, and at that point, I've already played so much of the game that I just kind of want to get on with it.
Yes.
That extra step is then annoying me. Does
agree.
that happen to you?
Sure. Yeah.
They should just
Always do
sort
it
of-
or never do it, but don't say you're doing it half the time and.
They should just shift it around where some character just goes, "Give me your map, I'll put it on." They like just change the way they say it.
One thing I've actually always kind of I've fantasized about and I've never seen is the concept of that if you were to go through a game, you have a map, and if you ask an NPC, like, I don't know where that is, can you point that out? They will actually physically draw it in
That's
their
what I was
handwriting
just
on the
gonna
map.
say. I love
So
that.
as you get to the end of the game, there's all these notes and weird things that
have-
different NPCs have left, and maybe you can like erase them if you
If
want.
you're talking
or like,
to an NPC, you have an option that says "Present Map," and then
Sure.
they can put something on it, but it's your choice. That'd be cool.
I just thought that'd be fun.
Yeah, to wrap up the conversation, just talking about because I love Zelda so much. They'll say the name of a place. Hey, these monsters are in this place.
Yeah.
And you don't have a little point on your map. Actually, you just find that place on your map.
Yeah.
You found the name of that
the
location
place,
on the map.
Which makes sense.
I love that.
You're using a map, like a map.
And then I don't need a waypoint. I kind of associate myself with a little arrow to that direction,
Yeah.
and I go nuts. Loved it.
It's
I loved
the
it so much.
best.
Yes.
That's the way to do it. Have a
very
map and
nice.
use it like a map.
Yeah.
Also, this is a brief tangent.
Sure.
Something about Mass Effect Andromeda that's been really bothering me. Every time I've seen it, they've done things. We were talking about this before. It's just like that, where it's like, I don't know where my house is. It's like, this is a video game. Like, there were times where the robot in your head will be like, if you activate this, it'll draw the attention of all of the, it'll activate all these robots and they'll fight you or whatever. And I'm like, how do you know that? Have you done this before? Have you done this mission in this video game before? Because like the way they even the way I just phrased it sounds more conversational than the robot
please,
says it.
help me with this.
It's weird.
Back it up.
Well, no,
I have a robot in my head. First of all, I'm confused. I got a robot in my head.
Whatever. In the thing that you were just earlier, you were just talking to it in the stream today, and it was like, if you find the more you explore, I'll unlock more of these memories or whatever. And it's just like, stop trying to bury these video game hooks. Just be a world. I enjoy being a sci-fi world. Don't have weird gameplay hooks. It bothers me.
Ian, if I'm a game developer, if I'm working on Mass Effect, I don't know how to take this I don't know how to give you what you want.
Stop having direct people saying game mechanics as dialogue. Stop it. Make it conversational. Say like, hey, if we unlock this door, I don't know, that might make a lot of noise and there are a bunch of guys over there. Like, that might be a problem? I don't know. I mean, whatever.
I got what you're saying.
Example.
Okay.
Don't
I kind of get what you're saying.
Activating this will activate these robots and they will attack. Like,
yeah.
It's like, you don't know that as a certainty.
Sure.
And also, like, how do you know that you're going to gain more of your own memories if I explore more and find more of these little tchotchkes?
Again, I think it's kind of like if you're making a broad game,
right?
You got to make it for the dummies.
Well,
you got to make it for people who, and I don't know,
and
obviously,
that's why.
And
that's why.
Oh boy.
I respect From Software so much because they make games for games. Like, they don't dumb it down.
Sure. Yeah.
People get mad at me for only liking 4 games a year.
Uh-oh.
What?
It's a hallway.
What?
It's a very good hallway.
What?
But Neo's a bunch of hallways.
Oh, Neo.
There's one exit to every level.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
one.
Neo's
I thought you were going to do Dark Souls. I thought you were going to Dark Souls.
Simmer down at the From Software beats all open world games because
Neo's
open world
From
games.
Software.
Like,
I didn't mention Neo.
No, I'm just saying. There's a way. In some ways, that is also
From Software. They're
that
like
is also
Metroidvania-esque
challenging
games.
gamers' intelligence by being like, you're all gonna stop at this ship.
Yeah.
Like, everyone that
Right.
played the Neo demo ended up in the same spot.
They're not
So
open
it's,
world games. Like, that's
Right.
saying like, oh, Mario's 2D. Fuck Mario. Like, it's
Right.
just not what it is. Like, I'm not criticizing, Neo for not having open world mechanics because it's not an open world game.
Well, I'm telling you specifically about guiding funneling players in a direction.
I just
being
totally-
like, everybody can do other stuff, but you all gotta go
I just
there.
mean like through dialogue. And stuff like that.
Here's the thing, though, Ian. In the Dark Souls games, in the tutorial, in the Asylum, you go and you read a message, and it says, push the left stick and this to do this mechanic. Like,
In Zelda,
it's not immune to that.
Yeah, well, it's still a video game. It has buttons.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And so
In
I think you have to be a
says
little
out
bit.
loud, look in your pause menu.
Yeah, I
Like,
think you
no one
have
says
to be
that.
a little bit forgiving. Where I don't think games have to be too cute all the time. If it's like, if you need to tell me how to save, why don't you just tell me in the fewest amount of words possible, even if it's not totally contextually perfect, and then we can move on. I think that's okay.
The reason I love the way Dark Souls does that is because it's your choice to read that or not. It doesn't pop up and stop gameplay, but it's effectively just a pop-up window. It's not a character saying, press R3 to block.
To end this on a positive note, I am glad that I think we're past that era. I think that was like the PS2 era where you would actually have characters that I'm supposed to connect with saying like the X button out loud.
Zelda does it.
I like it.
But the weird thing is in Zelda, it doesn't.
One moment it's a game,
fine.
one moment it's real, another moment it's a game.
It feels okay in Zelda. It's weird.
I'm almost on Ben's side, Jones. Like, to me, it's just the shortest path there. Obviously, if it's the last cutscene of the game and they're talking about X buttons and start buttons, no.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. Get it out of the way. Look, I know your video game. You know your video game. Let's just get through this part.
But what I'm
cool
saying is there's a way, like the way Dark Souls does it is the way I like you to do it. It's
But
a
I don't
window
think
that
it's-
doesn't stop things.
The only problem that I have with your example is I don't think it's really that much different or profound in any way. It's just you read the message and it says do this mechanic for this thing to happen. Like I don't think that's some brilliantly subtle thing.
I mean, I'm not. It's just like it's not part of the like lore of the world. It's a messaging system that's already meta level. You know? In this example, I think it's the perfect way for that game to do it because it's a messaging system that's like this weird other meta thing that's already about talking to other players in the world, in your world, in Ben and Ian's world, You know, so it's not really part of the world of the game. They're this weird other thing.
Subtler than most.
And it's not a window that just pops up and says, "Here's how you do it," and pauses gameplay, because I don't like that either. But it's also you know, if the doll said like, "All you need to do is press the L2 button," like that would destroy Dark Souls. I would be like, "This game is garbage. Like, why did they do this?" You know.
That's what it's like. GTA is. It has that clear separation where they're like, "Go get in the tank," and it'll say like a little subtitle pop up. It's like press X to get in vehicles. And you're like,
that I'm okay with too.
No character said it. You let me know this information right when I needed to know it.
Yeah.
And like,
if anyone in GTA said press X to get in that tank, that'd be so dumb.
Right.
You're right.
You would stop playing that game.
I'm sorry,
forever.
Jones. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
good L&R, baby.
Hey, allies. I'm writing to tell you about a game that none of you have mentioned anywhere. I think it's Hollow Knight. Just to make clear, has anyone else mentioned Hollow Knight?
I played it.
Cool. Well, here we go. The game released 5 days before Zelda to no fanfare. Really, media representation for this game is generally, in general, is extremely low. The game was kickstarted for only $40,000, and the game only cost $15. I was blown away by the game after purchasing it because I genuinely think that this is the greatest Metroidvania game I've ever played.
Wow.
That's intense.
It's also 30 hours long. Guacamelee and Ori were like 9. It masterfully, weird point, by the way. It masterfully captures so many highlights from Bloodborne and Symphony of the Night to the point where I don't feel like this game is derivative. It is unique and magnificent. If this game came out last year, it may have won my GOTY. Unfortunately, it is released during this onslaught of games and news, but I don't think it's an excuse for the lack of reviews. To date, on Metacritic, the game has only 4 reviews, all from sources I've never heard of, and they were late reviews. I've seen no articles and not nearly enough praise. This is heartbreaking, as the game isn't selling well on Steam either. It hasn't broke the top 15 daily sales even upon release. What I'm emailing to you to ask is, just to be clear, these are on Patreon, not emails. Please review this game or play it, talk about it on the podcast, or stream it, something. This is a solid 9 out of 10 game that is being criminally ignored. I feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone episode where I wake up playing a GOTY that nobody believes me that exists.
That'd be a good episode.
Love and respect, Johnny B.
I am so incredibly sympathetic to this.
Yeah.
I really am.
And I think it's a broader issue is why I brought it up.
Yes.
I don't think we're just going to talk about Hollow Knight.
That's it. That's the whole thing. Is there are honestly and truly, this is not an exaggeration, 10 games that I want to be talking about more. I want to have videos on. I want us discussing in some way. And we're not doing it because there just are some real limitations, and I think regardless of how we configure it, something's going to fall through the cracks and it's going to feel bad. And it's not an excuse. These games do deserve coverage, and so it's reconciling it. Like I'm not trying to dismiss it and being like, oh well, we're really busy, sorry. But I also don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
When you've got a bunch of different things and it's like, well, we want to do these justice, so we need to spend 30 hours on each of them.
Right.
Yeah.
There's only so much time.
Yeah.
A game like that is not going to have a big launch, period. It's just not. It doesn't matter what other game is coming out. It's just a game not a lot of people know about, and it'll launch to the people that like it. I think last year, games like Inside and Overcooked, like, we didn't play those the day it came out. I didn't even know it existed the day it came out.
Yeah.
Fair point.
It took like a couple months for me to hear about it, and then while I was all over it, and then
Inside had some pedigree. I think I played Inside the first weekend.
Inside
Okay.
had pedigree,
But
yeah.
I think
because we knew
had, like, a lot of hype.
it wasn't a Kickstarter. We knew
Right,
the developers,
right.
and we were anticipating that. But so I just think if you're a developer or a fan, it's like release it. Not necessarily. If it's like a week before Zelda, what are you gonna do? What is any game gonna do?
Yeah.
it's a new console,
Not
but
only
like.
is it the week before Zelda, it's days after Horizon.
Right.
It's
I mean, like even like
weeks after Neo.
even Horizon was scared of Zelda. It's
like, yeah.
Something I want to say though.
yes.
I think it's important that this person wrote in, and I want to encourage other people to write in or to communicate with us. Hey, I think this is really cool, and I think it's worth your time.
Yes.
Because we are swamped, and sometimes we're going to forget things or not know that they exist. And so you letting us know, case in point, the Silver Case, this visual novel adventure game that I didn't know existed. Somebody said, hey, you should play this. And they really got my attention. And I did, and it was great. I'm going to be talking about it way after the fact, but because they messaged me, it's now on my radar, and now I have things to say about it. So do this. We may not always be able to respond in a timely fashion, and I know that's frustrating, but your words have weight.
Yes. Absolutely.
I like this because I've played Hollow Knight. I played it for I don't know, an hour or something the other day, just like earlier this week. And I was like, I should stream this. You know, so maybe if there's a slot open this week, I'll stream it.
Yeah.
But I like this because I made the mistake of like looking at on Steam, like Rock Paper Shotgun or whoever had like the top news story about it, and they said something like, yeah, it's a really good Metroidvania, but it's kind of, samey. Like, it's like all the Metroidvanias. And so, like, I went into it having that in mind.
Sure.
And then I was like, oh, yeah, okay, it's kind of Salt and Sanctuary-ish. It's kind of this, it's kind of that, it's kind of that. And then I kind of put it down. Even though I really liked the way it looked, I think that the screen pause when you get hurt, I don't love, but, like, that's just me.
Yeah, I love those.
But, I like the way this game looks. The mechanics seem very cool. It seems challenging. I should stream it this week maybe or next week if we have time. Well, not next week, good lord. But yeah, I mean, I intended to stream it, and I've played it. I've heard of it. I've seen it. I like the way it looks. I love Metroidvania games. But yeah, it's just like every second of the day I'm thinking about Neo. I'm trying to buy a Switch.
I think as John said, this game, it's not over for this game. It's
Right.
not
Yeah,
over for
And
Hollow
I
Knight.
think,
Yeah.
Ben,
You
you
can play.
discovering a game, a year or two later, like if it's still in the console life cycle, even if it's on like a PS3 or something, and it's now on, PS Now or now available, to download or something that they've remastered or a part of some collection or something like that. I don't look at that as a fail. I don't look at that like encountering this game later and then being like, God, I screwed up. It's like, how wonderful that we can talk about this now.
Yes.
SteamWorld Dig.
Yes.
That is a big game for me right now.
And you just played it last
this
week.
weirdo game,
Yeah.
that I just finally played for the first time.
Can I say what doesn't help at all?
Okay.
When people get mad because we're not sufficiently covering something, and I understand that frustration, I'm sympathetic for it, but you can say, oh, they just don't care about indie games. They just don't care about small games. They don't care about PC games. They don't care about this type of
only
it.
care about indie
Right. when you do that and you don't try to reach us, the thing that you want isn't going to happen.
Yeah, right.
That's not a productive
What are
way
you trying to achieve?
of working with us to solve that problem.
Also, very interesting case. I have direct case study for this. I went at GDC. I went to the Salt and Sanctuary post-mortem, where a two-person team. They talked about Salt and Sanctuary. They showed a graph of their Steam sales. I believe it was Steam sales, and they said we got really lucky with streamers and like influencers, whatever, content creators, YouTubers. They got really lucky with word of mouth. Like they said they launched and it was whatever, it was okay, and then streamers picked it up, and it's this huge spike, in their graph. There's this huge spike because streamers picked it up. I believe this was Salt and Sanctuary, not Shower with Your Dad. He showed a similar graph, but this was Salt and Sanctuary. And
You
then
can't stream Shower with Your Dad.
And then they were saying, oh, maybe. And then they were saying that they were like, that was just like the huge thing, and then
So sales picked up
sales
after the
picked
spike
way
of
up after the
streamers?
spike from streaming it.
Huh.
And then that wasn't their own advertising thing. It was just like luck. They got picked up by that.
Yeah.
And I could definitely see something like a Hollow Knight, like, I'm not saying like me streaming it'll do that, but like someone streaming it, like a bigger name streaming that, like even 6-7 months from now.
Game's done quick.
Oh man, if Game's Done Quick does a speedrun of this, like there you go. And that could be like next year.
Yeah.
So like it can happen, and like the way that things like this gain a foothold now is very different than it used to be. It doesn't have to be an ad campaign out the gate and sell huge trying to compete with Zelda, because it's just not going to happen for Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
But like 6 months from now or next week, someone could stream it and it could get huge. Or maybe it won't, and that'll be a crime, But like, I appreciate the artistry of this game. I believe it's hand-drawn. Uncertain on that.
It looks very good.
It looks very
It's a trailer
cool.
worth watching if you have no idea
It's a
what we're talking about
cool-looking
this
game.
entire time.
I'd heard of this game like a long time ago too. I don't think I didn't back it because otherwise I would have gotten an email. But I remember like watching the trailer and stuff back in the day and being like, "Oh, cool,"
Yeah.
But yeah, I like games like this. I want it to do well.
But look, I'm not playing anything other than Zelda the past 10
Zelda.
days.
I'm trying to get a Switch to
What do
play
you want
Zelda.
from me? What do you
I'm
want
trying
from
to play Neo. I'm trying to finish Neo.
Like
Love
a Worlds
Neo.
just came out. What do you want?
All right, Ian, I'm about to blow up your spot. Here we go.
Oh. What does that mean?
I got this. I see this question a bunch of times, and I said, you know what? I should save that for an Ian episode.
Just say.
Just see.
Oh, I see. I actually did that wrong. So this is the new comment. Okay. Hello, allies. Something has been bugging me for a while about your shows. your treatment of Borderlands.
Okay.
The first one was mediocre, but I love Borderlands 2. It has one of my favorite stories in a game of all time. I didn't really like the immature jokes, but I feel like most of those were in side quests. The main story has depth and complex emotions. I still think about 3 scenes occasionally. It has an awe-inspiring set piece, an emotional punch to the gut, and a brilliant twist that leaves you conflicted and rethinking the whole game. The villain starts out very cartoonish, but he develops a surprising amount of depth near the end. Would any of the allies be willing to stream the game to give it a second chance? Love and respect, Dustin.
I was with him until the description of some of the story stuff because I don't agree.
Did you
I
finish
don't
it?
think the language used in there matches up with my own feelings. Yeah, I played through the entirety of 1 and 2.
Me too. I don't remember how the game ends.
Right,
I'm reading
that's-
this comment.
that's kind of the thing.
I'm like, I don't remember the twist. I have no idea what that was.
Me personally, I do not give 2 craps about the story in either of those games. And I was paying attention. I wasn't ignoring it. I just, like you were saying, I don't remember anything about it because it didn't leave an impression.
Sure.
Well, and the way that those games tell stories is a little, for me, hard to follow. Because, like, if someone's just talking to me on a phone while
yeah.
I'm shooting guys, I'm not tracking them.
Sure, I think that's a fair point.
One of the few games I did play through co-op mostly the entire
Yes,
time.
and that makes
Yeah.
it even more difficult. That
care
I'm
about
just
a
not
story.
tracking them.
right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the Borderlands is a really funny thing because I see that we get called out on doing love and respect, being positive about video games, with the exception of Borderlands. It's
Right.
like Borderlands is really the dog in the gutter of Easy Allies.
Well,
say
here's
Battleborn
what I
is
think
the
the problem
yeah,
is.
you're right. Yeah.
I think where that started was actually a really valuable and honest criticism where we're like, we don't like this writing, we don't like this humor.
Yep.
You know, but it just became a joke, and the joke overwhelmed any and all other discussion, and that's the problem. Is you would say Borderlands, and it'd just be like, oh, dick jokes, and then the conversation would shut down.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
There, I think multiple allies have positive feelings on aspects of Borderlands.
DLC,
but
crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, both Borderlands 1 and 2. Tons of varied, crazy, character-driven, awesome DLC. I remember, like, when
yeah, the
Bloodworth was
Tina
banging through those,
D&D
it's like
one.
once every 3 months. You're just
Right.
like, what are you playing? It's like, another DLC they released. Now I'm in this weird cemetery in the swamp, and there's ghosts
Right.
flying around.
Yeah. And I think I actually have a better time traversing those environments
Yeah.
than Destiny, if I can make
Yeah.
a direct
Wow.
comparison. I like going through those worlds more. I think there's more interesting things happening, and it feels more like I'm in those environments. And I think they're very similar games.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the old, like, you put a bunch of monkeys in a room with typewriters and one of them's going to write Hamlet after a while. I think you put a bunch of game journos in an office for several days and just some franchise is going to come up that they all don't like. Or not that they all don't like, but, like, somebody's going to be the butt of the joke. Somebody,
Sure.
you know.
It
and
becomes
Sure.
the
And
joke to make fun of it.
I do think
Like,
it's important to be aware of it, though.
Sure.
Yeah,
and we are.
And I
We're
think
aware of it. We know that we make fun of Borderlands and Battleborn all the time. Like,
Right. Well,
we get it. We know. Here's my thing:
It's-
is like,
yeah.
I mean, I know Anthony and Ash and all that stuff. So like, there's that. But like, from my understanding, like, they hated the ending of 1 so much that was part of like
Who's
what
they?
Anthony and those guys. They all made fun.
the
of
writers.
Yeah. Well, he didn't write 1.
Okay.
Anthony Birch
Anthony Birch is a
wrote
writer.
2.
Okay.
And I believe that them hating, I mean, I don't know this exactly, but I believe that them hating the ending of 1 was part of why they got the writing job.
That
They
makes
were
me
like,
so
"Come in."
nervous.
No,
Oh.
yeah, I think this is a positive thing.
So
where like,
in his review, because he used to write for Destructoid.
I don't know if it was in a review or what.
Okay.
They made a Hey Ash about it, where they're
Oh,
like,
got
the
it, got
ending
it,
is so
okay.
garbage.
Got it.
And like that stuff like led to like they had a good sense of humor about it, and like had him come in and be like, okay, write the second one, you know.
So we're only making fun of Borderlands, so let us write Borderlands 3.
Right. We just want to write Borderlands 3 is what
Just
I'm saying.
let us write it.
And I mean, I don't know how much of that is like direct 1-to-1, like how it happened, but like I do respect that a company has the kind of balls to be like, these guys hated this. Let's have them write the second one. Like that takes like guts to me. I admire
And
that.
I think that might be the core of the concern for anybody that is a Gearbox fan that is frustrated by the way that we handle that is we never want to have and this, I'm saying this to you, and please communicate this to other allies. We never want to suggest that we want Gearbox to fail.
No.
That if Gearbox makes any game, we will always laugh at it and we will always say it's bad. No. That we enjoy Battleborn not being as good as Overwatch. That's where it belongs. Like that is not the stance personally that I take. That's not the stance I ever want you to take. No. And so I think sometimes when we are flippant about it, it has that attitude of like, Battleborn, moving on. So just like, wow, they're just not straight up going to even cover the next Gearbox game. Well, and like, I'm gonna give it a chance, and I want it to be good. I'm sure if I was able to have 30, 40 hours with 3 friends to play Borderlands 2 all the way through, I'm sure I'd have a blast.
I mean, that for me personally, the second Gearbox makes a game that I give a shit about, I'll give a shit about it.
Right.
But I don't, and they haven't so far, and that's why and like people think I hate on Microsoft. It's like, no, I just don't care.
Right.
Like I like my PlayStation because I've had PlayStation since the beginning. So like, yeah, I'm accustomed to it. I don't hate Microsoft. I don't hate Gearbox.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like,
oh, that was not.
That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
Ben doesn't believe that.
No. I
know what I like and I know what I don't like, and that's me, and I'm not gonna mince words on that.
No, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't mince words on it, and that's something that I respect about you is you do know what you like and what you don't like. This is my only counter. Is do you think sometimes that maybe something that initially seems bad isn't as bad, and if you gave it a chance, like being more open to giving things that initially rub you the wrong way might open the door to more positive experiences?
Possibly.
I'm not saying you have to soften your edge.
Here's my thing.
I'm just saying.
No, here's my thing. Like, cancer runs in my family. I'm going to be dead by the time I'm like 70.
Whoa.
I'm not going to waste time on Last of Us. I'm not going to waste time on Borderlands 2.
But you gave Last of Us a chance.
I did.
You actually did give it a chance.
I gave it a fair shake.
Yeah,
I gave
totally did.
Witcher 3 15 hours.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't care.
Absolutely.
And I stopped.
And that, to me, that makes all the difference.
Right. And like, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yes. There are things that very immediately, like the little menu noise in Dragon Quest Builders, where I'm like, I'm not going to become accustomed to that.
Yep.
And I don't have a need for this in my life.
Sure.
So I'm not going to do it. And like,
I get it.
I think that Borderlands could have the greatest story in the world, but with the style of game it is, I'm not going to like it. I just don't care for that. Whereas like, I like Destiny because I was playing with my friends and the story didn't piss me off. So like, maybe if I had played Borderlands with my friends, I would love it. Because I've co-opted a couple of times and it was fun. Yeah. That was the only way for me to play that game and like it. Same with Overwatch. Like, if I'm not playing with people I know, I do not have a good time.
Yeah.
And like, now I'm kind of sick of it, so I don't have a good time with my friends either. But like, like that is part of these games, and I think that that's a consideration. Like, but Borderlands for me it's just not what I want to do. Specifically Borderlands, like whatever. But it's not. I don't hate Borderlands.
Go on adventures.
Yeah, I'd rather go on well-crafted adventures.
But if you had like the anti-allies, there was like another group out there that just
anti-allies.
Well, if you had like some of the group out there that just hated Souls, all of them. Like they made fun of it all the time. Why do games?
They exist.
Games don't need to be that difficult or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just like a uniform decision. If you were From Software, wouldn't you be curious to like? I want to try to crack that nut. I want to try to actually like reach out to that team and be like, "Hey, come on over and check it out."
And I don't know.
This is an opportunity for us. Well, I'm just saying, like, this is a potential opportunity for us. So even though I do want to, be as positive as we can possibly be most of the time, I do like being honest and maybe potentially every now and then having a game come up. They're like, "Oh yeah, that is that game that we're a little bit sour on."
And I can sympathize.
Yeah, I don't want us to be sour all the time.
I think
I'm supposed to be honest. That's all I
made
want.
a joke.
I think we do a good job of being positive and honest.
Yeah.
But also, like, I can sympathize kind of the opposite side of that for fans of things that, like, for fans of Borderlands or Battleborn or these games that we don't love, And, like, being someone who, like, oh, man, I really like the opinions of these people, except they hate on this thing that I really love, and I wish that they would give it a chance and stuff. And it's like,
right.
I've given them chances. I played a lot of Borderlands too, and then I was just like, okay, not my cup of tea, And then we make jokes about it, sure. But,
I don't think the directive should ever be to be positive. I think the directive should just to be honest, and to be fair.
I think we're positive.
Fair is a much better way of putting it.
Yeah, and I do think we're fair most of the time.
To end that though, the last part of the question: will any of us be willing to stream it? I'm going to say probably no way.
There's just not time.
Would any of us consider streaming the game to give it a second chance?
To Borderlands?
Yeah. And I feel
I
no.
like Borderlands.
Yeah,
I'll totally
I would
stream
But
Borderlands.
I
I
also
love
stream-
Reflex Borderlands.
As Ben just said, we have
Right.
at least
a lot of other games.
so
Not
many
the
other games
next
at any point.
6 months.
Not
Right.
full on.
Yeah.
Although, actually, this falls in line with a series of streams that I've actually been wanting to do.
Oh.
That is like the give it a second chance, like the second chance
Yeah.
streams.
Whoa.
That,
like-
I love this.
Yeah,
That's such a good idea.
Because I'm so critical about
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
You know? And like you or Huber, somebody was making a joke earlier before we shot this of doing a show called Ian Stops, where I play a game
I
until
said
the
that, yeah.
moment. Because like that happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
I can tell you the moment I stopped playing like
Yeah.
Last of Us is after the thing. You're in the city hall and they're waist high walls and I'm like I'm about to get in a gunfight and then I did and then I was like I don't.
And the
need to
stream
play
went in
this.
there.
And then I stopped.
Ian stops.
Hard stop. Never
Bye,
played it
everybody.
again. And it's just like that's
brutal.
just who I am. Like
And
whatever.
what's so cool about that idea is you would do it differently than anybody else,
Right.
and I think that difference,
But the
that
second
different
chance-
perspective, is valuable.
Second chance stream is like maybe you don't have to. Maybe you're not beholden to finishing a game.
Absolutely.
But like, you know, giving a game that you didn't care for another shake. And
Really think
trying
you
to-
should do this.
Trying to come at it with an open mind. I think that'd be an
And just
interesting.
love
nothing
it.
but
I love
insane
it. It'd be so
vomit-inducing
interesting.
positivity in the chat. Just smiley
Yeah,
face. You can do
yeah.
it, Ian. You can do it. Come on.
I'm just like,
Keep going. Keep
I
going.
hate these controls.
Yeah.
Like,
It sounds like a fun stream.
effect.
that would be really funny. I'll do that. That sounds fun. Let's do that. Trying to remain positive on previously hated games. Also, not hated. I don't hate any game. I don't think.
We just use the word hate.
Yeah, I don't.
I
care
really
for
don't like the humor in Borderlands 2.
It. I don't care for that.
It displeases
That's
me.
how we're ending that conversation. Okay.
I would say I hate games
Because I think
like
it's okay to stand firm
sexist
too
or
if you really
racist.
do
Yeah,
believe
yeah,
something.
Yeah.
I got one more thing.
got intense.
I got a little quick
did.
one. Yeah, it did. And the thing is, what I hate about the only part I hate about getting this podcast together is not doing questions.
Sure.
If we had another hour, it sucks. It sucks. It's stupid to complain about, and I realize that's why I don't like to do it. One last one, little positivity one. Here we go. Hi, allies. I would like to say thank you. I'm on maternity leave and, well, unable to play or watch games because of the lack of free hands most of the time. But listening to the podcast every week still allows me to be in touch with the gaming world and that part of myself. I'm very grateful for that. It definitely keeps me helps me keep my sanity. Also, Tabletop Escapades is a great companion during sleepless nights. So very much love and respect, Mimi and baby Polly. Mimi, we're on your side.
Yeah.
That's a tough
Polly,
thing to
let
be
your
in
mom
on.
play
Yeah,
games.
absolutely.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So thanks for the thanks, but yeah, we're there
Dad.
for you.
Thank you.
Cool. Let's talk about bets. It's time for bets.
Let's do that.
Ooh.
Mass Effect Andromeda will be released on Tuesday, March 21st. Tuesday.
The day of our live event.
Oh, yeah. we'll talk about that more later, but yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's an intense week.
Intense week. At this point, next week, how many people will be streaming this, or will be watching this game on twitch.tv?
Wait a minute. How are we going to check this?
You just go to.
Ugh. We'll just have to do it during our concert, won't we? Wait, are we not doing a podcast?
Are we doing a podcast next week? I thought earlier this week
Oh,
we said we
gosh.
had to do an L&R after this one tonight.
Oh gosh.
Oh, God, it's 11 p.m. Oh, we are
Oh
screwed.
gosh.
We're here for another hour
A
and a
peek
half.
behind the curtain.
There will be something next week. There will be something next week for the Easy Eyes podcast.
Boy. And if it's us wearing the same shirts, we're sorry we're
Guess
so
what
tired.
happened? One late, sweaty night, the boys got together for one extra podcast.
podcast.
Okay.
I'm down. Let's do it. I don't care.
At this point next week, how many people will be watching that game on twitch.tv, Brandon Jones?
26,000.
Look at your handwriting, John.
26K.
I like just like how thick it is. So,
Those big markers.
it's thick and confident is what it is. It's not just like, I don't know how this line's going to turn out. It's like, I got it. I know what this 2 is going to look like. I do want to say one thing is we looked at how many people are watching it right now.
Yeah.
15K.
Yep.
Okay, so that's where
and
that...
League of Legends had 32K.
yeah.
Something like that.
Ben.
This might be the worst bet I've ever done. This is not thick and confident. This is meager and
Thick and
stupid.
confident. Oh, right, with your lines. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this
the lines.
is a bad bet. I know it's a bad bet. I'm
It's
gonna
got a
lose.
smiley face on
I
it.
does have a smiley face. 76,000. That's just
That's a lot of people
that's
watching.
A lot. That's a lot. That is a laughably bad
Going
bet.
big.
Yeah, but it could be huge.
big or go home,
It could be huge.
It's not. I mean, it's just you look at the numbers. It doesn't add up. It's just a mess.
I've been there.
I said 22,000, Kyle.
That's a good bet.
Yeah.
I went
So
with.
we got a little window.
Why did I say that?
I went with 15,990. I think this might be the peak.
That's a good spread.
The week before the game comes
you
out.
might be right.
So I was saying maybe like a little more than right now, but I don't know. And let me lock those in.
What are we doing?
You think about these big games, though. So you're right in the middle of Zelda. You know, even though the Mass Effect comes out next week, it's been out for a week. Like, I'm not going to play this game. I might never play this game, even
Mass
if I really
Effect
wanted to.
Mass Effect?
Andromeda, yeah.
Jones, I'm
So it's like, yeah, so I'm watching it on Twitch because it's just like,
I was watching.
just give me a little
Bloodworth play it,
taste
and
of
I was
this
like,
because
I
I'm
might
not going to
play
hit this until December.
Which is
Like,
crazy. If you told me a year ago, Kyle, you're not playing that Mass Effect game, I'd be like, why not? Tell me why not.
because BioWare didn't learn or change or grow or fix their engine.
wow.
Well, all right, but now I need you to explain that. I need you to explain that just so it doesn't sound like just the mean thing to say.
The hair looks really weird. The shadows, the lighting is weird. The faces look awful. The like weird expressions that they're doing. A bunch of like arm twitches and like weird camera stuff. I'm sure the story is awesome. I'm sure the voice acting is pretty good. I'm sure that the dialogue system is really cool and the combat's probably passable. Like, you're going in for a BioWare game, so that's what you're getting, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. I sound very negative on this game right now, but I actually am pretty excited for it. But yeah, oh man, there are a lot of things in that game that look like garbage.
There are some ugly faces.
Yeah.
There's some ugly faces.
Like, oh man.
And you know I love faces. I love them so much in games, and for them to be ugly is a bummer.
It's stuff like that where I'm like, don't try for photorealistic. You can't do it. Just make it cell shaded and make a choice, and this game will be beautiful. Like, God.
Now I'll get behind that. Maybe not for Mass Effect, but
For Mass Effect.
but I do appreciate that
if you
artistic choice
cannot
sometimes.
do it, don't do it.
That's what Borderlands does, though.
Well, yeah.
Full circle.
You didn't hear us complaining about the way Borderlands looked.
It's true. We didn't
Oh,
never
yeah.
complain about
Yeah,
how
it's
it
true.
looks. It's true.
How do you do it, Ian?
Borderlands looks kind of nice
I
sometimes.
think it does, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool look. Look at Zelda. That game's beautiful. If Mass Effect looked like a sci-fi Zelda Breath of the Wild, my God,
Yeah.
that would be a beautiful, perfect, wonderful game.
I hear it.
But
Maybe.
instead, they're trying to be top graphics. It's going to look like Final
not- just
Fantasy
not
VII
that-
before it even comes out.
Jones, I'm going to need you to access youtube.com on your
my
laptop
goodness.
while I talk about last week's bets.
all right.
We're talking about Styx, Shards of Darkness, which released this week on March 14th, which is today.
No one's talking about Styx Shards of Darkness.
real.
Yes. And here's the thing is
What's the dev name?
Focused Home Interactive. How many
related to the
words
film company?
will there be in the most recent comment? Focus Pictures?
Yeah, is it Focus Features?
Focus Features? Is it Focus Features?
I think it's Focus
And
Features.
and it's like a
Yeah, the C is...
and you see like the
Autofocus.
yeah. Fox Searchlights?
That's a whole other...
What is happening?
For film? Whose logo is very confusing.
How dumb are movie logos? They're so
love
stupid.
'em.
They love themselves so much.
The best is when a company is like established,
Yeah.
like Scott Free,
Yeah.
right? Ridley Scott's company, or like Bad Robot,
Yeah.
used to say the name,
Yeah.
doesn't anymore.
Yeah, now it's just
Now
going
it's
through
just
a
the
field.
bird.
Just
Now it's just like it's the bird, and it doesn't even say Scott Free anymore.
Yeah.
It's just a bird.
Yeah.
It's like Prince.
Come on.
It's like the artist the film company formerly known as Prince.
They're so.
I love
Ben,
it.
You're not on with it. Like there's
I
just some
love
stupid blue bird flying through a field. It's like. Toastshire.
I love it.
Yeah, it's every single thing.
Toastshire
I can't
is
Yeah.
great.
form a response to this because all I'm hearing is just these nondescript sounds right now.
Our rant on the stupid things that come before we. Okay, Jones. Before you say it off, here we go. How many words will there be in the most recent comment in the most recent Styx Shards of Darkness video posted to Focus Home Interactive official YouTube page? Jones, you said 12. Bloodworth said 37. Huber said 14. I said 11. And here's the thing, Jones.
boy.
If you suspect foul play, we'll take that comment out.
Oh, okay.
If the comment's like, I'm just doing this for easy allies.
Nope, this was made 1 hour ago. It
Great.
seems legit.
Okay.
And that's not because I won.
Oh, boy.
Everybody adores Styx. You always love lots if everyone seeks launch reveals. 12 words.
12.
Read it again.
Everybody adores Styx. You always love lots if everyone seeks launch reveals.
What does that mean?
What?
Are you sure this is a legit comment that wasn't created for you to win?
You posted that.
That comment makes no sense. One more time.
Everybody adores. If you want to do a 12-word sentence, you can do a better sentence. I don't think that's.
Yeah.
It's clearly English might not be the first language
Here's
here.
the thing,
Like,
Jones.
No, I just want to know what they mean.
I had 11. Huber had 14. There was no way you were going to win this week. There was
think-
no way.
This does seem strange though.
I'm so mad about this. One last time.
it was made 1 hour ago, though, so it's
Yeah,
not like
During our filming.
Read it as if it's a sentence that makes sense.
everybody adores sticks. You always love lots if everyone seeks launch reveals. What I think it means is
You always love.
What I think it means is, yeah, you're all saying nice things about this game because it's exciting because it just came out. Whereas, like, give the game 3 months, we'll see how many people are
Everyone
leaving
loves
positive
launch
comments.
reveals.
Something's
Because if you look at all
fishy,
all
man.
the comments, it's like, wow, this game looks great.
Yeah.
Wow, look at all this.
But those are real sentences.
I mean, I think, English probably not being the first language makes sense.
The comment- the
but
comment-
What does it mean?
I think
One of
Jones
these comments
right.
is in French. Like,
It's kind of like, yeah, where are you going to be when it actually comes time to buy the game? Huh? Y'all like this video? You're leaving comments on the launch video? Oh, you like this? That's cute.
Everyone loves sticks. What is it?
everybody adores sticks. You always love lots if everyone seeks launch reveals.
Every time I think I've got it figured out.
It just gets more bizarre when you. I'm losing my mind. Just give me one more time.
Let's just make sure no comments have popped up since
Yeah.
I've been looking at this.
No, I mean, that's the one,
That's the
Jones.
one.
That's the one. We're
That's
locking
the
that
one.
in.
Yep, still in. Everybody adores sticks. You always love lots if everyone seeks launch reveals.
Can you say the punctuation? Is there any punctuation?
Everybody adores sticks, comma. You always love lots if everyone seeks launch reveals.
I'm gonna write that and stick it on my wall.
Yeah, I need to read that many more times.
Everyone adores sticks.
Once we
You
stop
always
recording,
love
we'll have
lots.
Jones do that a few more times for us, just so we're really clear.
I need to just. Can I see it?
Yeah.
That brings the score to Purple Platypi 3. Ben, help him. Come on.
What is it?
Don't just leave Ian hanging there. That's so rude.
I'm just still thinking about the sentence. I'm still thinking about the sentence. What do you want me to do?
Everybody
I'm
adores
befuddled.
sticks. You always love lots if everyone seeks launch reveals. Period.
There is a period.
There's a period.
This is throwing a wrench in the whole thing.
Everybody adores sticks.
Yeah.
First thought.
That's fine.
You
I get
always love lots if everyone seeks launch reveals.
that. Yeah. I think that, you know what, I'm going on the other side.
is it?
I think maybe the person thinks it's a good sign that the launch reveal is getting a lot of views.
Yeah, you always love it a lot if everyone
Seeks.
seeks out these launch reveals.
Yeah.
Everybody
it's
adores
obvious to me
sticks.
that this is a good game because so many people are seeking it out at launch.
Right.
I
Okay,
guess.
you always
sure.
love lots if everyone seeks launch reveals.
Yeah. It's simple.
And the next one is it's actually a very nice trailer.
Yeah, that would have been naturally a win for me, which would make sense. But no, it's all on Jones.
Bring this to the Switch retail and I'll buy it day one.
Again,
Everybody
another Kyle win,
adores
but no, it's
six.
fine. We got everybody adores. It's fine. So it's Purple Platypi 3. Ben, please. Red
So you
Eagles
didn't want that anyway.
8.
So you got a normal beast.
Yeah.
Everybody adores
It was
sticks.
luck of the draw. Everybody adores
You always
sticks.
love lots if
Every
everyone
week.
seeks launch
Everybody
reveals.
adores
I
Purple
see
Platypi.
that YouTube video of the platypus making the sound,
Yeah.
and it just it's
fades.
not gonna stick.
In
It's
one ear,
not
out
gonna
the
stick.
other.
Yeah.
Got a lot of views.
How many views does it have? I'm actually curious.
208,802.
Everybody loves sticks. Everybody adores
Everybody
sticks.
does love
Everybody adores
sticks.
sticks.
You always love lots when
You always
launch
love
reveals
lots
happen. Missed
if
it.
everyone seeks launch
But
reveals.
I liked that we were curious. We wanted to say launch trailer, but we weren't 100% sure. Is Sticks going to have a launch trailer?
Right.
Totally does.
Totally does.
Well done, Focus.
Everyone adores sticks.
Everyone adores Sticks.
Everyone adores sticks.
We're going to talk about EasyAllies.com and Patreon.com/EasyAllies right now. Because this is always somebody's first podcast. It's always somebody's first one.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
That's a goodie.
Never apologize for something that was entertaining.
We got deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jones, what is Easy Allies?
Easy Allies is a group of journalists who cover games and talk about
Journalists,
games.
yeah.
Yes.
Entertainers.
You know what? All right, I'll take it, Jones.
You know why I keep settling back on that word is I think it is the the job of a journalist to report.
Yeah.
You weren't there. I was. You might not have the information. I do.
Yes.
Let me pass that on to you. But I think if you're a journalist, you're doing a poor job if you don't then join the conversation. You know, if you're not. That's what I love about social media, Facebook, Twitter, that you can then publish a story, get comments, on YouTube or on Patreon, and then you can then comment back to them. They can comment back to you. I put my email address out there and have had nothing but positive vibes from that. A lot of people sending me great comments and hey, I know you're busy, but I just wanted to reach out. I love that. I love getting each of those. And so it's nice to not only bring up issues and discuss them amongst ourselves, but then have the audience, tell us what they think about it, and then we respond, and there actually is a back and forth. And so that's what I think the role of the journalist is in the 21st century in the video game industry. So it is exciting to be a part of it. And the only reason we are a part of it, the only reason we exist, is because we are funded almost entirely by a massive fan base on patreon.com/easyallies that has supported us for a full year.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Unbelievable.
Still, I love it. It's amazing.
That is amazing. I hinted at it earlier. We should talk about it. The thing that's happening next Tuesday.
Yes.
The reason we can't record a podcast Tuesday night.
We're going to be up on stage making damn fools of ourselves at the Prospect Theater in Hollywood for an event called Easy Allies in Concert. At this point, you are either attending or you're like, what? If this is the first time you've heard this, you don't know what that is?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are saying that.
You will see this eventually. This is our first time putting on a show like this.
Are you saying if I want to go, it's too late?
If you would like to go and you can get to Southern California next week, it will be, the doors will open at 7 p.m. The show will start at 8.
Where do I go for
Prospect Theater. You go to a website called Vendini. You can do a search there, or you can go to or you can go to patreon.com/easyallies. See the post about tickets on there, and you can follow the link there.
It was suggested to me, and I think this is a good idea, that we should tweet again and pin it to the top of our Twitter.
That's
Excellent.
a good idea.
I think that we should do that tonight.
Pinning tweets, that's good social media.
App in those tweets.
Yeah.
Because people had to search for a long time to find it on Twitter.
Yeah.
But it is unusual for us. We have not done a show like this, and so I can't say definitively. I had a lot of questions from people about, I can't make it. I know you're not streaming it. When can I then watch it? I would put my money on 2 weeks later, probably.
I mean, I'm gonna cut it, so it'll be that weekend for sure, at least.
Boom.
Whoa.
There you go.
That's a promise.
If I don't cut it Wednesday, I'll cut it Friday.
Sure.
But we will package that together so you can see that after a fact. Obviously, you're not going to get the entire experience because there will be all sorts of other fun things happening. But our first live show, our first celebration of a year of completion. Hopefully, we'll have many more. But that is next Tuesday. Yeah. So apologies. We're shaking up the podcast next week, shaking up our normal group stream, which we do Tuesday nights. But it's the time to do it because we're a year old.
And for those who can't come and still want to celebrate, the Thursday after that, the 23rd?
Correct.
We're going to be streaming for 1 million hours. 12
1
hours.
million
1 million
hours.
So yeah, join us for that. It'll be fun.
Was that a Dr. Evil?
Yeah.
1 million? Oh, I guess, yeah.
Oh, okay. If it wasn't, I'm cool with it, Jones.
I will not go out of my way to quote.
Okay. Oh, boy. Just to be clear to any listeners, that was not a Dr. Evil.
Who else would that have been?
It wasn't. It turned out it wasn't.
Dr. Evil quote.
Jones did not intentionally do a Dr. Evil.
I do the pinky if I had
but it was the same delivery.
It was a little different. It was
a little different.
$1 million. I think that's what kind of
More
what
like a Dr. Strangelove sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
I'll buy it. I mean, I did it better than Kyle, but, I'm just kidding. I don't get many impersonations of myself. That was fun.
Bring it home.
Impersonation of myself doing an impersonation of...
Bringing it home.
Not Mike Myers.
Jones, you have won the right and responsibility to share your Twitter handle with the world. You just said you love being open as a journalist. You love communicating with the community.
Yes.
Now's your chance.
Oh, please.
You get to promote any Easy Allies video you would like to. You get to have the final word on anything you want to reiterate or disagree with that was spoken throughout the entirety of this podcast. And you get to sign off with your trademark sign off. Take it away, Mr. Jones.
I would love it if you would follow me and ask anything you can possibly think of at Trailer Jones.
Jones, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It looks like we get some more time for you to think of something.
Okay, wonderful.
Ian just reminded me of something. Goals. Ian, how'd you do with your goal?
Oh, right.
I did not find love.
Okay. Ben, how'd you do with your goal?
I made a Snorlax reference, but I think it was poor enough that no one acknowleded it.
I completely missed it, Ben.
it's okay.
I also missed it.
remember you saying Snorlax, but...
When did it happen?
The effort was there. It was a lot.
What point was it?
I don't even... Ian said something, and I'm like, oh, that's a real Snorlax on the road, and then we just moved on.
Oh, that's so good, too, Ben. I'm so sorry.
I also
It
get that
wasn't
joke
that
now.
A real Snorlax in the
When
road.
you're
Yes,
wouldn't
Jones
There's a real Snorlax on the road.
I don't get that joke.
Real Snorlax. And I just was like, oh, they're like, somebody's gonna say, like, oh, you tried, and then nothing.
You tried.
I'm sorry, Ben.
No.
I think your goal's accomplished. I think you did it. You did what you set out to do.
Yeah.
Jones, did you finish your goal?
I did. I dropped a ka-ching in there. It wasn't huge.
Did you?
I missed the ka-ching. When did the ka-ching
Wow,
happen?
we're bad
You
at
said
this.
we'll get something for free. You were like, "Yeah, we do that, and fans get that for free." And I was like, "Well, ka-ching."
Oh, well, you think that's like a...
See, that was
Wow, you
good.
stealthed
Yeah.
it. That's great.
That's a
That was
stealth ka-ching.
good.
That should be a goal to achieve a goal without anyone
Oh
realizing. That you've done it.
Oh, that's to
stealth
do something
goals.
like really boisterous and annoying,
Stealth
but like
goals,
no one will.
But no one notices.
If I get eye contact afterwards, I failed.
Yeah. Ooh.
Okay, yeah.
All right, next week. Remind me that.
Next time.
I did not tell a joke. I was searching for opportunities the entire time. You could tell there are pauses where I'm thinking, is this a time for a joke? Do I have anything?
Don't tell me that because when I cut this, I'm just going to be staring at you the whole time. Now, was that it?
Nope.
Why do you listen
Didn't
to
tell a single joke.
podcast again?
We just got to find the opportunities for music and things like that.
We
And-
put music under this thing?
No, I mean,
We have more corrections music under this podcast than ever.
it's going to have to loop. It's probably going to have to loop
I've
that
had to
correction.
loop it. I've had to loop
okay.
it before.
All right,
yeah.
cool. Okay, so we didn't do great on our goals. Jones, microphone's back to you.
I think everybody's got to bring it at E3. I'm kind of nervous about E3 this year because I just think it just seems like so many people. Nintendo's got this new console. We don't have release dates for any other things. Like we're hoping for a new IP. Like we gotta have that Animal Crossing announcement. You just blew my mind, Ben, with just like Xbox really needs to, especially after all the things that have been canceled. Even like Lionhead getting closed is still a sour taste in my mouth. That was like a joke in our like launch video for Easy Allies. So yeah, they just need to. Wow, I have more expectations, I think, on Microsoft and Nintendo than I think I've ever had. Certainly more than last year, because once I found out Nintendo was only bringing one game, I was like, well, write them off. But here I am obsessed with that game that I can't play because my wife is stealing the Switch. I recommend you check out. It's funny because I'll walk into the kitchen and I'll be like, I'll just like go in and I was like, oh, Amanda's gone. And I look over, I'm like, she took it. There it is. You know, it's like there's the empty stand right by the TV. Like, whoop. She had no intention of playing it, but it's fantastic. I recommend you check out our review of Fire Emblem Heroes.
Oh, why should I? That's a mobile game. Why should I watch that?
Because it is special to me for two reasons. One, it is the first review ever at Easy Allies or Game Trailers of a mobile game, I believe. Did we ever review a mobile game at Game Trailers?
Wow.
Ever?
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
And we didn't review Pokemon Go this year. We covered it, but I mean, we never like reviewed
I reviewed
it.
episode 1 of Republic.
Ah, okay. But that was also on
That came out on
Steam at the
Steam
time, I
and stuff,
think,
too.
right?
Not at the time.
Not the time? Okay. All right. Touche. That is our first mobile review
That's
here
a
at Easy
touche.
Allies. That is a Michael Damiani joint.
Touche.
I love that Damiani didn't alert us at all that it was coming. He was like, here's the script. And we're like, what? We got the script like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
It was
We're just like, wait, we actually have to have footage for this.
He wrote that script the day after we had our big argument. It was the
it
next
really?
day. It was here's the script.
I think he like spite reviewed it.
I mean, yeah, if you see the score, yeah, there might be a little spite in there.
No,
but,
against Kyle.
But, well, who doesn't spite Kyle? But,
Every minute of the day.
I love it because it is a mobile game, and that was really interesting, but it's also vertical because the game's up and down.
Yeah.
So it was interesting cutting a video and just focusing my attention to just like much less real estate on screen than is available. Like the whole left and the right side of that review are like, this is not how going on there, but just the way YouTube works. And it was actually sparked a really interesting conversation with Brent Phillips, who works on our website, about like why YouTube doesn't do that, why they don't have a vertical player. That like you can like specify that.
Yeah.
When you upload a clip to YouTube, like
That'd
this
be
is
cool.
up and down.
Yeah.
Don't make it small and put those things on either side.
Yeah.
I think it might correct itself on your phones, but like if I'm looking,
Well, it goes
if I'm in a
down.
browser, it would be interesting.
Boy,
but
I
it was
tell
just
ya.
it was just hilarious because we have the wipe, the horizontal wipe for the review, and it reveals the game footage, and it was funny that like it wiped and it's like still can't see it. There it is.
Boy,
So
I tell
a
ya,
very interesting review from Easy Allies.
I've cut videos for Snapchat for like Comedy Central and stuff, and like, God, those are annoying. Like cutting in that weird long like vertical aspect ratio, so weird.
Well,
It's so weird
An
and
edit is
weird.
extremely powerful. Like you ask people to look at a perspective, to gaze through a window at another world or another thing, and when you change that entire thing they're looking at to something else,
Yeah.
it does something to your brain. So it's just interesting. It doesn't do that to my brain when I'm just looking at this like little tiny sliver of gameplay in the middle. Like I would do edits, and I'm like, I can't even tell if I did an edit there. It looks like I'm watching a trailer. It doesn't look like I'm actually like, it doesn't have like my stamp on it.
Do you remember the era of early 2000s music videos, particularly hip hop videos, where it'd be
Letterboxing?
4x3, and then on the letterboxing they would put other things
Other
inside of
colors
those?
and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, those
I
were
remember
cool.
the first time I saw a letterbox that had like stuff in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
So you should do stuff like that, Jones.
Sure. I also like
Mortis.
when like NBA Live would make their bars red. Because they're like, why not?
Nice.
Red
Yeah.
bars.
Yeah.
Classy. So yeah, check out that review on behalf of myself and Mr. Michael Damiani. Cheers! I am enjoying these microtransactions.